Right, meow. Hello, welcome back to Delta Green.
Special access
It's not really
program,
that kind of
go.
spooky. Hi. This adventure is called The Rat's Nest. This scenario. I don't want to call it an adventure.
No.
But it's 35 pages and technically it's not done, but I'm fairly certain you guys will not get to the I know what happens in the bits I haven't written yet. You will probably not go there, and if you do, I could probably improv your grisly and unspeakable fates.
If we end up dealing with fucking ratnados, I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Try not to dive headfirst into the meat grinder. Okay.
Okay.
Before we go anywhere, though, I do want to remind you that this episode is being produced on our StudiOmega YouTube channel and is brought to you by our patrons like Adam Tarpago, Comics, Hayes Baker, Jack Bugs, G, Carlos, Dragon Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Dave Kaiser, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Trevor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, starting 23, Varian the Crow. If you wonder how I do that so fast, hypergeometry.
Oh, right. Oh, that I didn't ask the most obvious question. What kind of dice I'm gonna need?
Percentiles, basic,
All
and
of
then whatever.
So
Whatever
D6s, D10s?
damage based.
Just
thing.
grab a full set. Honestly,
Yeah, probably. Worst
And
comes to
probably a
worst, you know, if you want to
D4.
roll your own sand damage, a full D&D set's not bad.
Yeah,
I
I'll
just
just
have
grab my tub.
you're mostly gonna be using percentiles, but D4s, D6s, D8s, I believe, will be the
I'll
rest of the rest of the spread.
I'll
Maybe a
take
D-
out my percentiles.
Pretty sure Omega's
I'll
going to
have
be
the
the
others
only
in
one
there.
that possibly rolls a d20.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think only Omega can roll a D20, and I don't think there's any
Ah.
D12s.
Sag.
That.
I mean, yeah,
Wait, no,
technically.
I think I actually do
Oh.
damage.
Well, if we get
Uh,
electroshock, we have to roll a d20.
Well, it depends on if you want me to roll for your stun length or
Yeah.
mine. But yes, no. Dallas actually has a hunting rifle, which there are special rules about. Bolt action rifles take a minus 20 penalty the turn after you fired them because you got to work the bolt.
Yup.
But they
But
are
they do
very
D12 damage.
yes, as everybody here knows. Whatever happened to those rifles, by the way?
I don't know if we put them back.
I think you put one of them back in Maynard's
Yeah.
house because you framed that poor man who got eaten
Oh,
by
yeah.
a dimensional
We
shambler.
probably had to put
I mean, he wasn't
the
around to
train back.
complain.
Fair. You put him in a
Yeah.
lake.
Put him in a lake. In a
I
national
mean,
park.
there was only pieces left, you know.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna. Are we just gonna call that case the Bigfoot case? Just to,
I'm not. I don't know what you're calling it.
Nah.
I'm calling it whatever I want to call it. You don't get to know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know if the
Opposite
special
as
access
ever.
program wants you to compare case notes.
Actually, no, that's fair. We'll just not bring it up.
This is what we like to talk about on Need to Know.
All right, so as you guys may have heard, because we are recording, we have a new player in. We'll introduce his character shortly. You can say hi, Dallas.
Hi, Dallas.
Um,
Sorry, I just
I gotta figure that would happen.
I have the humor of a 6-year-old.
But before we actually get to your latest operation being summoned forth, I did want to just briefly go over some stuff with your home actions and time. Several of you guys have spent some actions, some of which require you to lose some bond points. So I would like to check in with everybody and ask what they did again, and then also if you lost bond points, what bond did it go out of? Probably not like full-blown vignette scenes because I have a lot of material I would like to go to, but just checking, what happened with your relationships and things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
So I chose to just train in my off time. So I worked on computer science and SIG-Int, and I took a point out of my analyst team partner.
And the other point you took, because you'd lose a point for each skill you improve.
Oh, is it separate or is it can do the same?
You lose 1 point in a bond for each, so it can be the same bond.
All right, I'll just mark that down to one more.
So
I
you
just-
spend a lot of time studying computer manuals, practicing rigging wiretaps and bugs, and your analyst partner's just really like, wow, Benowitz, you working a big case or something? You're spending a lot of time.
Had a weird retreat.
Okay.
Hard to explain.
All right. Okay.
So I will go.
Well, Marth typed his, so I will very briefly recap it. He took both in his Navy SEAL team. He did nerd shit. They were disappointed. They wanted to go drinking and shooting. It's Lucky. Go ahead.
So like I said, I studied the unnatural. I was actually able to get the summoning ritual from the journal, and I lost 2 from the CDC team I work with. So the way I see it is basically I spent a lot of time reading a fucking book instead of actually doing my damn job, and maybe some projects are starting to run a little behind, and they're not happy.
During the
Robinson,
day and
what are
age-
you? Why are you studying a notebook? Don't ask me questions.
Don't ask
As they
questions.
stare into your you stare into the middle distance. They stare into the abyss back. Hypnotoad sounds in the background.
Also, Kara also took some time to compilate her findings into what I'm just gonna call a digital grimoire.
Yep. It's not a security risk.
It is now a security risk, yes.
It just leaves Garza.
Garza got some special training in the operation of lockpicking mechanisms. He took his bond loss from his boss and recruiter, pretty much the person that brought him into the DEA, and it's just, I imagine that he got the training through the DEA, and his just relationship with his boss has gotten a little more professional and less like
Personal.
mentorish.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys have, a couple of weeks to yourselves, enough to clean up and enforce everything, enough to forget all those times you spent in the woods, in a ghost town, fighting an unspeakable creature from beyond our dimension. How much it smelled.
I thoroughly enjoy Pritchard's alcohol collection. Thoroughly.
Some of you perhaps take special care to clean and maintain your service weapons in this time. You hit up the shooting range a little bit more than usual. Think about things. Quite a few of you spend your time actively reading about subjects, improving your skills.
We probably have. Benowitz probably has an emergency assault kit in his car now, in the back of his car.
Yeah, carrying a trauma kit with you. Yeah, makes sense.
Also a rifle, armor, bugs. Yeah.
The bugs, and I think a carbine in a service car would not be out of the question, though that would be in your company view. But yeah, just you thinking thoughts, and then you get your little emails. And this includes, of course, our new person, but his first time getting briefed this way anyway. You get that little personal email. You've won free opera tickets. You were cordially invited to a night at the opera. This time, you are to appear, and depending on where your workplace, it may be by plane or also possibly by car or train for those of you working already on the East Coast, to a hotel conference room in Boston, Massachusetts, which is closer to the area you'll be operating, but not exactly there.
Well,
So
I guess I'll pack an overnight bag and a few extra things this time.
Yeah.
So you said they're getting it to me by email?
Yeah, your activation call would probably come by email, text, or
actual
It
tickets.
would probably be by fax then.
yeah, they'll
Just 'cause
fax.
the area where I work has really, really shit cell reception. Because it's
Yeah,
the middle
I
of the
guess. Can you get a
woods.
spam fax? Probably.
Yeah.
I'll
have some way to have gotten it.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're
full on isolation crazy person.
Yeah, no. It looks like an innocuous message, but it passes. You know that's the activation phrase for the Special Access Program, the intergovernmental task force you're part of that deals with that weird stuff that you see in the woods sometimes. And for your briefing and your task force assignment, you have to make your way to a certain conference room, Boston, and everybody packs
How many
up their
days
gear.
do I have?
You probably got a couple of days. They would have given all of you enough time to show up roughly the same time. So.
Oh, then I'm gonna go by bike, motorcycle. I should clarify, not riding bike. That would be hard.
Just got a golden boy that shit.
Squeaky, 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 squeak.
Yeah.
So once again, you guys all find yourselves together, plus the addition of a new member of the team, in the conference room of some sort of discount hotel facility.
Mm-hmm.
With sticky commercial carpeting, everything smells like stale coffee and cigarette smoke.
Oh, guess what? I'm not holding back.
There's a projector in the roof that looks like it was installed in the 1970s and hasn't been looked at since then. And you're familiar. Your case officer, Agent Green, is. This time, his tie is covered in golden Egyptian eyes of the Wadjet.
God.
So the big Egyptian eye.
This man has a little bit of fun with this.
Yeah. And as always, he is also unrepentantly smoking and wearing leather gloves. So he says, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started with this briefing, the Special Access Program has decided to, after the debrief of your last Operation Bigfoot," he flicks through a clipboard and stares at the notes.
Kara scoffs audibly.
Somebody had fun at Central. After your debriefing on that operation, to which I will no longer name, we realized that your task force, your team, lacked certain operating skills that are important to our line of work. So please introduce yourself. Dallas, if you'll go ahead and describe your character and
Okay, so you will see probably in a corner somewhere, making himself somewhat scarce of view, is a moderately tall, pretty spindly, older man. Definitely has long gray hair, very all over the place hair, actually, down to his about back, tied in a ponytail, probably, and long gray beard, wild eyes, and a weird collection of scars on face, arms, everywhere. Looks like bites, scratches, things you can't identify at first. Just a bunch of different stuff that you would find in outdoorsy type. Wearing a old and very much not often used beige suit that looks like it's from about the 80s. With a fairly large duffel bag slung over his back, as well as a rifle.
He brought the rifle in.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably in a zip case, but it would be clearly identifiable as a rifle case.
Yeah.
Hiding case or something like that, yeah.
And so just one of those ones of who put the savage in a suit.
Something like that.
Garza
I
gets
am
notable
your.
land. Sorry.
What is it? I am your. Holds up a piece of paper. Archaeological and historical consultant. That's a new one. Apparently, you're hunting weird shit, and I'm here to help you identify it.
Your character's
Also, he has a pet.
name.
He has a pair of reading glasses on his nose.
And
which
if you would
look
please
very out
write
of
down your
place.
character's name so I may remember it later.
Yes. Jack. Let's see what I got the last name. It's French, so excuse me. Yeah.
So
Mormo.
much fun. So is that pronounced? Does he pronounce it Jack Mormo, or is it more like?
He pronounces it. It's probably pronounced Mormo, but he pronounces it Mormo.
All right. And that you said you have a PhD, right? Would you be
Yes.
titled professor or doctor?
Probably professor.
Yes. So
It's
after
archaeology.
your little
It's a PhD in
exchange,
history, so.
Agent Green will turn to Dr. Robinson and say, "Doctor, Professor Mormo has some field experience with the sort of things the Special Access Program is familiar with. It is why, despite his experienced age, he was read into the Special Access Program."
You know, Kara basically does some eye narrowing at the professor, and makes a acknowledgement noise, but does not comment further.
You could also probably notice, if you're observant, the duffel bag isn't full of any useful supplies. It's full of books. Absolutely stuffed full of books.
Yeah, no, you're a
Most of them
savage.
look like notebooks. Yeah, kinda.
I'm over here digitizing hypergeometry. This man just carries around books. What is this?
Garza,
This actually came up
definitely.
when Dallas pulled me aside to talk to his character, and he ended up with like 0 computer science or whatever the default is, and it was just like, yep, that makes sense.
I mean, to be fair, I live for most, like, what is it? It's like
Yeah.
3 months on, 1 month off. I live in the woods.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
because you
The
work with
Ozarks?
you work with National Park Services.
Yeah,
as
I'm in
part
the
of
national parks, so...
Yeah,
do you just
Federal
have you just
Archaeology.
claimed a Firewatch Tower as your own? This one's mine.
Kinda. No, I'm not like that far gone. We work in a teams, so it's like general shifts. But it's just as from having been in parks before, getting any kind of cell or computer reception is ridiculously hard sometimes. So he's just like, well, if I'm just gonna get interrupted and all my progress gets deleted, I'm just gonna use paper because, He's not like anti-computer wild man. He's just. It's more convenient to not use it where he works.
Yeah.
Probably have pictures of all your shit.
So that's honestly, you would probably share that with our
Yeah.
young Navy SEAL, because
Navy
all
SEALs
your
go to
fancy
the-
computers are cool, but that's shit you have to haul through the ocean. So
They don't survive in the ocean water. That's bad.
He has like 4 different phones. Not a lot of
Also-
computers, lots of phones.
Also, being in areas where there's probably
I was
no
actually thinking of
internet
picking up to
connection
see if we can pick up a
or
sat.
cell.
So
probably
after
have
that,
one.
Agent Green will go down the line. He'll
If they
introduce
let me do that.
Agent Garza, DEA, Special Agent Benowitz, FBI, Petty Officer Holland, Navy SEALs, Dr. Kara Robinson, Centers for Disease Control. And, Mormo,
Okay.
National Parks.
So they're very what's the ages like on people?
Kara, I'll give you a brief description of Kara. So Kara looks like a very haggard woman in her mid-30s, dirty blonde, long hair, also tied back in a ponytail. Man, it's like we have something in common here. And right now, she is wearing big blocker sunglasses and smoking a cigarette, completely irreverently of whatever sign may be out here. But if they were to be removed, she has very vividly green eyes and huge black circles underneath her eyes. She's wearing a very, very sturdy lab coat.
Fair enough.
This can post there.
Agent Benowitz is late 30s, early 40s. rugged skin, well-kept hair, smoothed back, recently shaved, and it's more trying to look professional than actually, I guess, approachable.
Garza is in his early 30s. He is of Hispanic descent, so dark hair, light facial hair, well tended, but he's currently in like a DEA windbreaker with some extra padding, and he's giving a look between Kara and the professor, like with his look giving like, oh, another one of these guys.
All corners. Oh, you find them from all corners, Green, don't you? Agent Green.
Oh, also,
The Special Access Program recruits specialists from all across the federal agencies of this United States of America. Yes.
To put it bluntly, one thing I think is funny. This man very clearly skipped arm day. He has very thin, pasty white arms, but his legs are built like tree trunks.
Lots of walking. I guess I should actually, other than his description, I should briefly, your case officer, Agent Green, you've never seen him not dressed in a professional cut suit. He has, dark hair at a mid-length, stroked back with like one little curl always out of place over his forehead, dark circles under his, gray eyes. Looks like he could use some more sun. He's always wearing gloves, and he always has a weird tie on. And he looks like he could be anywhere between ages like 35 and 65.
Got ourselves a smoking man.
All right, with introductions out of the way, let us get to the briefing and why the Special Access Program has tapped you into this case. Because this is going to be a slightly delicate one. I'll walk you through what we can here. This is a case that we have tapped onto that is ongoing in Miskatonic County, Massachusetts. That's why you are here.
Miskatonic.
The general Arkham, Kingsport area, Dunwich.
Oh,
Isn't that a
But,
college town up there?
What was that?
Isn't that a college town up there?
Yes, Miskatonic University gets its name from the county. That's located in Arkham.
Isn't
You
that
may
the
be able to
place-
find some local supplies there.
Is that a place infamous for having like one of like the largest?
The library at
80s
Miskatonic U is well known for having a lot of very, very old, very rare books that they do not let anybody look at. Yes, that would, if you're in an academic circle, you would know that.
I know that secondhand, but yes, it's almost kind of infamous for that.
We've discussed some story stuff with you and your bonds. Some of you may be familiar with this area, but here's the rough outline. You're all passed out your pale green folders that you start flicking through.
would I have actually... Hold on. How close is Miskatonic University to Boston University?
I should let everybody know, Miskatonic and Arkham and all that are fictional. We're in deep in the Lovecraft Country. But I do believe that it should be fairly close.
Okay, because to clarify, Boston is my alma mater.
Yeah, you've probably you've definitely heard of
Right.
them, and may or may
probably-
not hate their guts. I don't know.
I've probably worked in their library, considering my profession.
Yeah, they probably would not, as a visiting professor or researcher, they probably would have not let you look at the very rare old books.
Yes,
Even
I'm
the ones in
probably
French.
still bitter about that.
Yes. They've got an uncensored Necronomicon in it. Real human skin. They might actually, but I don't think that's relevant. So, you open up your folders, you brief through. So, the Miskatonic region has been ravaged during the last year with intense winter storms and late-season hurricanes. I'm sure you all are familiar with the weather reports. Reminds me, I need to call my contact at MF. Anyway, this has been causing heavy local flooding and erosion. So, when was it? Right. About a week ago, a couple of hikers were walking in unincorporated county, skirting the property lines of a historic building. Yes, I'm sure that gets many of you a tingling, but we'll get there later. And they spotted some human remains sticking out of the newly eroded soil. Immediately called the local sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department tapped Miskatonic University to help clear the remains. They thought it was an archaeological site, possibly related to some urban legends in the area. You guys can think about that if you want. However, the students of archaeology analyzing these bones realized they were much more recent. We're talking 20th century. And then, here's my favorite part. He says very sarcastic. The first couple of bones they pulled out showed signs of dentition, both animal and human.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those ones. This caused a little bit of a sensation on the local news. Don't worry, that's mostly blown over.
Oh. Everyone loves
They don't
cannibal
find-
stories.
Yeah, so the overtaxed sheriff's department called for aid from the local FBI field office. This means that the FBI is on site through the FBI Laboratory's Victims Identification Project. They have begun carefully cataloging and excavating and have so far discovered at least 6 different sets of remains and have completely covered 3 sets of remains recovered so far. Teeth marks match humans and rodentia.
Rats.
So, yep.
Any data on like correlation between any of the damage to all the remains, or is it just remains?
Not at this time. It's very preliminary. I don't even think they've had enough time for carbon dating yet. Ideally, we'd like to insert you as a team to the scene because we have some concerns about this property and this location. As everything filtered up to the special access program, we have discovered that the property in question was previously owned by a historical family going back to the colonial days, known as the Lune family. Hey, Professor Mormo, you speak French, right? That means the moon.
Bitch. I realize that. Oh, God.
So, and this location has been known to the Special Access Program and its parent organizations. If you will turn to the back half of your briefing document, and the briefing document just has, like, crime scene photos of, a human skull and some wet winter soil being pulled up. You guys got a couple of nice zoom-ins on some human molars in, like, an arm bone or a thigh bone or something.
Looks like
Flick
someone
through all
was
this.
doing their bet rat impression.
So, we have files that were originally held by the Bureau of Prohibition during the 20s and were transferred to the Bureau of Investigation and then were sealed. Testimonies, and you'll flick through these, you'll see testimonies of several Prohibition agents, who believe that the Lune property was involved in bootlegging and moonshine, producing and storing inordinate amounts of illegal alcohol on the premises, but when the agents attempted to search the property, they mysteriously vanished. Then during the 30s, you go to switch to the Bureau of Investigation opens. It's apparently that your good pal J. Edgar took some personal intense surveillance of the Lunes and their business properties. Not necessarily looking at these, sealed records that the Special Access Program has access to. Not necessarily legal, but it was the 30s and it was J. Edgar Hoover, so nobody cared. It appears that this intense pressure on some of their business outlets may have curtailed their criminal activity. And then there are notes from the OSS, the P4 desk, which some of you are familiar with, that the several males of the Lune family they joined the U.S. Army during the World War, the number 2, and they tried to get special clearance, but were denied for reasons that are not clear in the documents. Why the fuck would write everything down? You assholes. Everybody, grumbles to themselves. And allegedly, many of them still went to France and died there. And the rough knowledge of the estate is there as well. So the estate of the Lune family, their house was known as Umbral House. Umbral is in shadow. It's supposed to be historical. There's a source of many various urban legends and ghost stories. Also on the property, there was previously a priory for Catholic nuns, known as the Essex Priory. The priory went defunct around the turn of the 20th century, but it's still on the property. There were various unsourced rumors. There's an urban legend that during the Revolutionary War, British redcoats attempted to seek quarter in their homes, and the Lunes murdered them and hung their bloody coats for everyone to see. Again, that's why they thought the bones were like, hey, are these redcoat bones? Ooh, an urban legend. Oh no, cannibalism.
I like on the images the size of the bite marks like human sized.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you can. They're very very clearly visible human dentition.
Okay.
You guys know what a human bite mark looks like. I guess from a distance you could be like, maybe it could be another great ape, but those don't exist in upland Massachusetts. We hope.
When you say recent, like, do we mean recent in the last couple of years or recent in the last couple of months?
Didn't you just say they haven't been carbon dated yet?
Yes, carbon dating is not complete yet. The
sorry.
estimation
God,
based
people
on
really
the wear and
don't
tear
listen.
is somewhere in the 20th century.
Okay.
So probably not this decade. And that wouldn't make sense because
I mean,
you
if
guys
if it's a skeletal structure, then it couldn't have been recent because there would be.
Yeah, no, it's not
More or
recent,
less.
but it looks like based on like early markers of like erosion and things, the remains are from somewhere in the 20th century, probably the latter half, but that could be anywhere from like the 50s to the 80s or 90s. So you need several days to crunch numbers on carbon dating. I had to research this. But the big one for you guys in the end of your briefing package is you have a couple of classified and candid reports, some newspaper clippings. In the 70s, in 1973 to be exact, there was a fire at Umbral House.
Oh.
Allegedly, all remaining members of the Lune family either had died prior to that or died in the fire. And so you actually have some old records of the Delta Green clearance program in the 70s. Records from a officer, well, not an officer, an NCO. His name was Erwin Luna. He was apparently from a distant relation of the family. And he was part of MACV SOG and Marine Force Recon, so the Special Forces guys in Vietnam. And previously held Delta Green level clearance. So he was redded and all that.
So this area has been under investigation for a while.
Yes. He made reports to a handler of his own, codenamed Agent Dan, who worked with the CIA. And as you know, you guys are flicking the briefing and Agent Green gets about this. He actually pulls out a manila envelope and opens it and sets it on the table. You guys look inside. There is a portable cassette player, and there are audio cassettes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so basically he says, Agent Dan had Staff Sergeant Luna record some of his dialogue about an incident at Umbral House, which are contained here if you wish to listen to the original tapes. Well, these are copies of the tapes, but the original audio format. They are, as far as I'm aware, unedited by the program. There is also in your briefing packets a typed summary where it basically Luna reports that he, after coming back from Vietnam, MACV SOG packed up their operations, went home in 71 or 72. About that time, the Delta Green clearance program ended for reasons that you guys don't need to get into. It's fine. It has nothing to do with anything.
Huh.
Nothing happened. Don't ask questions.
Is he saying that, or?
No.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Okay.
Well,
I was
he
gonna
might allude to the fact that the Delta Green clearance was temporarily closed But he would not do all that because that's me telling people at home that maybe there was something, but no, it's not relevant.
Okay.
If you guys need to dig into some various things, that will be in your research time. But basically, he summarized this. Agent Dan typed it up and also has the audio tapes. The rough outline is that Luna was called over by his distant relatives. He visited the house. He found them to be spooky. He thought they may be connected to some unnatural goings on. He engaged in a fight with them and attempted to burn the house down. And after that, allegedly, the whole family had died. Previously, supposedly, all their adult males had died in World War II. Tried to go back to France because historically they're from France. They're supposed to be from the Avignon region, or possibly Avarigny. I think it's Avignon. That's another fictitious thing, by the way, audience. It's not
Yes.
real. It's a spooky region in France. And if you guys, want to do pre-research or get to reading books and stuff, we can cover that in a second for your various skill sets.
I don't know
But
how many centuries old that legion is.
basically, they tried to go back to France. All their adult men were killed. They called up Luna like in the 70s. And we're like, hey, come on by, distant cousin, join us. And he was like, no. And he burned the house down. And allegedly after, it says in the tail end of your briefing, according to all that stuff, the probate court decided as the last living relative, Luna inherited the property. He moved to Kingsport in the county and minded his own business until he died of old age happily a couple of years ago.
Who's the current caretaker of the estate?
The ownership passed from him to his, all of his property passed from him to his living granddaughter. Find my list of character names. Barbara. She also lives in Kingsport. I think she operates some kind of store or something out of one of the properties he owned. Maybe worthwhile to track her down. But basically, the property has been abandoned since the 70s. But we have been aware of possible occult activities going on there for some time. And so, as always, the program is activating you to get to the bottom of any activity that may have gone on or is going on at that property and make sure that it doesn't end up on the 6 o'clock news. I'm not telling you to, sanitize the site or anything, but checking in on the dig, making sure that no obvious signs of the unnatural are posted in any public reports, possibly sterilizing the site for any information vectors, and making sure nothing else is going on. You may also want to check in with, the Luna granddaughter. I think there may have been some notes in the desk about some ongoing legal case involving the property before this. It is technically private property, so I'm not going to tell you to violate any constitutional rights by conducting any searches, but
You're not going to tell us not to.
I heard
basically,
nothing.
yes. You must use your best judgment with the authority of the Special Access Program, which, of course, is an authority that nobody else can know about.
So,
It's
don't
no
get
authority
caught.
at all.
Well, if you get caught, the program can vouch for you that you're supposed to be doing something somewhere, but obviously there's only so much protection legally we can offer you if you are legally caught. And this brings us to our other matter, aside from your briefing packet, which is the issue of cover. Unlike the last operation, this one is a little more specific. Technically, this is still in the jurisdiction of the Miskatonic County Sheriff's Department. I believe the local sheriff his name is Dakota Ward. Type another name in the list. He requested the assistance of the FBI and their laboratory because the county sheriff's office is not really equipped for this kind of case, so the laboratory is involved. I believe the agent point there is Dr. Amber Vastag. Or is it Vastag? He reads at his clipboard. Anyway, there's an FBI team at the dig site helping cataloging the remains. They are still accepting the volunteered help of the Archaeology Department at Miskatonic University and may have added some forensic students as well. So there's a lot of people around the bones who will possibly ask questions. If you need any assistance from the program now in establishing your bona fides or cover identities, you need to let me know now so I have time to prepare them before you head out there. Obviously, he gestures at Axe's character, Agent Benowitz, as a member of the is it Office of Support or Bureau Support?
It is. Oh, look, it's like IOSS.
Yeah, Information Office Support. You're part of the support office. I can track down again. Obviously, Agent Benowitz has a very obvious in as well. You could argue that the good professor as well, being part of the Federal Archaeology Department or Federal Archaeology Program, has the credentials to be present anyway.
I'm pretty
but
sure
for...
I'm pretty sure someone at Mesky owes me a favor.
Hypothetically, he gives Dr. Robbins some side eye. The CDC could have a public health reason, but we don't want to raise any alarm bells ahead of time. And several of you have, at this current time, no jurisdictional reason to be on the case. But obviously, you have all worked together, and the program has assembled you so that we
Carl
may...
will just wave her hand. Is like, just say I'm on loan to the FBI in the pursuit of this investigation for additional support.
Perfectly serviceable. That makes sense. So that leaves you, Agent Garza, if you can come up with any jurisdictional justification for you to be there, or we can attempt cover.
Sure, I could be helping Agent Benowitz, perhaps with some link to the Prohibition-era activity in the area.
It's true. Some of that does go on very long.
Probably maybe there's some old cases that were closed up, might be reopened in case of maybe some new information, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm sure I can probably dig something up. Maybe I'm there to make sure that they see if the bodies are pertaining to a cold case that the DA has.
That will work for temporary scrutiny, yes. As long as you guys don't raise any alarm bells with any other federal law enforcements, we shouldn't have too much trouble. And technically speaking, on the subject of the programs, the Special Access Programs Authority, any investigations into your profiles will, of course, be met with very interesting blocks of classified information, but that may just be more suspicious than not. And then, of course, that leaves Petty Officer Holland. I don't believe the Navy has a particular reason to investigate this case, though there is still a branch of the Office of Naval Intelligence in Kingsport.
Guess you could say it could be assigned there as support.
Could just be someone dispatched on local area leave and is technically just has enough clearance to be around.
I suppose that would work. You might have to persuade the sheriff to permit it, but it is still technically his jurisdiction, at least until something comes along. By the way, I would love for something to come along that would let the program take jurisdiction of this, but obviously you have to handle that very carefully. This has at least been reported to the public news, even if the hubbub has died down.
Wonderful. There's probably been people all over the site.
Holland, if anyone asks, just say you're my assistant.
Will do.
Right, well, that's your judgment.
I
Let me
will
know if
see
you
what
need
I-
anything.
I will see
Check
if I can wiggle away, scrounge a warrant so we can legally go on the premises of the estate.
Yes, keep an eye on that one, though. I said there's I believe there's some legal issues going on with the notice of the property. It's why they haven't searched it out right. You'll have to get all that from the sheriff, though.
I might be busy tangling with that, but I'll see what I can do.
Nothing like local.
And obviously, feel free. You don't all have to go to the dig. That is just the primary focus of the investigation now. But the program, well, we don't pay you directly, but we make sure that your government pensions stay good so that you can come at the problem from all angles. Feel free to, what's the phrase these days? Scooby-Doo this shit?
Jinkies.
Zonks.
So, do you have any questions for your case officer or regarding your briefing packet?
I do. Is the scene currently open to the public, or is it suits only? By
No,
that I
it will
mean law
be,
enforcement.
So, it is not... The sheriff has permitted, like I said, graduate students from Miskatonic's forensics and archaeology department as volunteers to help catalog the site. They are technically trained and under supervision to do this. It is not open to the general public, but specialists are
I mean, I trust them to be more thorough than a civvy, but
yeah.
Shit.
I mean, they've been at the initial report of the hikers was like a week ago. If some horrible bone golem was gonna pop out of the ground and start eating people, you would have already had that problem.
Great. That just means it's something slow and subtle. I love this.
Hold on. This is a dumb question. Do you have marks? Do you have copies of or at least visuals of the dentation marks?
Yeah, there's some photos in your briefing packet.
Okay. Do you have photos of the skull of the bodies?
Yeah, they've got all the records there.
I'm gonna.
Are you gonna ask if it's self-inflicted?
Yeah, if it's auto cannibalism, right?
No, it is not appeared to be auto cannibalism.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, didn't you say there was like... Well, no, that wasn't this, but... No, we're only in the briefing. If we want to get all the facts, we need to get on the scene.
And here he taps the envelope. This is for you. Yes, I did have to check out a cassette player for you to use.
Thank you.
Jesus, that thing might be older than me.
I wouldn't put money on that.
Well, the original tapes were recorded in the 70s. We had to put them on new magnetic strip, but...
Green, will we have a green box, or will it be a dead drop site for when you have the carving dating?
Well, that'll be official. They'll date everything, so you'll check in with the site.
Okay.
If you require a storage unit for any evidence or to pick anything up, I believe we can arrange a green box site in Arkham.
Thank you.
Arkham.
Do we got a vehicle prepared?
Yes, I have acquired you yet another lovely federal SUV.
It's black, right?
Of course.
Perfect.
With the cop tint.
We'll be a little more crowded this time.
I will most likely have to ride alongside you, at least for the initial trip.
Yes, Professor, I believe you
I'm
ride
not
via
leaving my
motorcycle.
bike in the middle of Massachusetts.
No, you guys will have to acquire lodging as usual. The program does have you a line of credit. You might be better suited to Kingsport than Arkham, because it's a little bit of a tourist trap these days. It does have a lot of hospitality along the seashore. But Arkham is a popular college town.
Sweet.
They are one of the, I think, the only colleges that actually have a dedicated metaphysics department.
There's a lot of weird things about Miskatonic University.
There's a couple.
He pulls out a new cigarette and says, "Don't ask too many questions."
Understood.
There's one up in Athens.
He doesn't understand.
Never mind.
Lots of people don't understand. Listen, I'm not going to tell you to treat Miskatonic University as a hostile agency or anything, but the university has a long history of occult studies.
Yeah.
In other words, it has its own secret, and not all of them are worth knowing, right?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And every
They
couple
are,
of years, a professor will go to see.
They are... well, let's just say that in our time, the Special Access Program has recruited several graduates of Miskatonic University.
Oh, great.
Like I said, don't exactly treat them as hostile, but don't give them anything extra that you don't have to either.
I assume we've also had to put down a couple of graduates from Miskatonic University.
I don't discuss previous operations unrelated to the case, Professor.
Need to know basis. And the only thing I need to know is when can we leave? Sooner we get this done, sooner I can get back to work.
Well, if you have no further questions for me, tosses the keys.
I'll
Probably
drive.
to from Benowitz. I'm not going to tell you not to listen to the tapes on the car ride over, but don't listen to the tapes in public.
I understood.
Does
I thought
I
about
gotta
it,
go
but
make a
Does
phone
the
call.
translation's fine.
whatever. I'll think about it later.
Any other handler question? Anybody?
No, don't. If you can't think of one off the top of your head, agent.
no.
No.
All right, we're good.
Oh,
Any last-minute gear things you want to make sure you've got packed in the SUV?
That is actually something I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I'll list out a standard archaeology field kit, standard. Not evidence, but
Observation kit.
just standard equipment. Sat phone.
Let me see. I believe satellite phone is in our list. Comms.
Also, do we have LTK on this? If we find anything hostile.
The official proper policy of the Special Access Program is to contain all vectors. Do not allow them to endanger the public safety.
Got it.
If you encounter a hardened threat, since you are closer to areas, we may be able to task some briefed specialists in this matter. But for the time being, if you require any tactical solutions, gestures at the Navy SEAL. A sat phone is technically an unusual expense. You may not be able to swing one.
I mean, I'll help pay
Did
for
Navy
it.
SEAL bring his rifle again?
Yeah.
All right.
Just puts at the bag.
Oh no, Garza kind of glances under the table briefly and goes, then nods.
I really don't feel comfortable without equipment that isn't prone to getting interfered with.
Well.
I will attempt to haggle my handler.
Okay, so official requisition. You are a normal priority operation currently. Unusual expense, so it doesn't take anything. So you should roll me a bureaucracy or military science roll.
I'm gonna do bureaucracy because I have that. So what is the rules on rolling, hypothetically? I haven't played this in a minute.
Roll percentiles, you're looking to roll under your number. If you get doubles and succeed, it's a critical success. If you get doubles and fail, it's a fumble. Also, it's important for everybody because I don't remember if it came up or not. Double zero is always a fumble.
Yep.
Always 100, yeah.
Well, I got under my percentile. No criticals. I got a 3.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what my bureaucracy percentile was, but it's more than 10.
Yes. So you go back and forth with the case offer, and he's like, all right. I don't got it on me, but we can get it to you just, the program will know if you use your line of credit, the program will know where you're staying. By tomorrow, we'll have it sent to you. Will that suffice?
Yes, it will.
Anybody else need anything special?
Anything special? Let me see here.
Sure, we can get some of our normal stuff along the way.
I don't know. Can we, I got a first aid kit, but can we potentially get a forensic and evidence collecting kit?
I believe our federal agents will be covered that already. Should be in their standard gear.
On the back.
Yeah.
All right. And then... No, everything else I think I'll be able to get on site.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go to work, ladies and gentlemen.
Kara will stand up swiftly and make her way for the door, lighting a cigarette as she moves.
Darin will just follow after her.
By the way, something you'll notice if you look at the motorcycle that I brought, it has a sidecar attachment that has 4 more duffel bags in it.
This seems a bit extra, but okay.
Some filled with archaeology equipment, one filled with a actual carbon dating machine.
Do you just have obsession old books?
No, his mental disorder is he has anxiety.
No, I keep my life portable.
Yeah.
That's a job profession thing, though. Not
By the way, I
mental
should let
disorder.
everybody know, basic camping gear isn't incidental. You can just have that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
By the way, so to clear, if anybody was wondering, the reason why there's no notes about any incidental expenses in the acquiring gear, it's because the game is like the agents have it unless they're like super broke. Unless you're literally in the middle of the woods or something, you can find an incidental expense and cover it
unless like you're literally
on
on
your
the
government
lam.
paycheck.
Yeah. So I guess
So burner phones are easy. I believe you guys do still have your earpiece communicators since those were bought.
Get one for
those were bought on the job with your slush money, but
we should probably get one for Mormo just in case. But
you can work on that later.
yeah.
You can definitely find a Radio Shack around here. So, where do you want to head? Actually, I should say.
How far away is Kingsport, right?
Yeah.
How far away is that from here?
So let me see.
3-4 hours?
Notes. So the site of the house and the dig is probably it's a couple hours drive, accounting for traffic as well, from Boston for either of them, and then that's a couple hours from the dig site. It's basically depending on where you want to go. Arkham, Massachusetts is the county seat. It's, there's a county courthouse there. That's where the sheriff's office would be. The sheriff may or may not be there. And that is also where Miskatonic University's campus is located. And it is generally a, sleepy college town. There's a little bit of tourism. Obviously, Salem still exists, but I believe Arkham has been described as also a fictionalized version of Salem. Kingsport is coastal, just down the coast from Innsmouth.
That place, I don't know if the place still exists, but yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a historical site there at least, though the industry would have... If the industry didn't die after the Navy raid, the industry died when, in the 40s or 50s, Delta Green, sent nuclear submarines and yeah, they fired heavy-duty modern torpedoes into their secret city. They had to fuck off and go home, so that's probably killed all out there. Kingsport used to be a major economic area. It had a major port and some industries, but are no longer relevant. It's mostly held up by tourism. They have a lovely historic, seaside district. They do historic boat tours. Got privateer-themed bars. Has a historic lighthouse, very famous coastal cliffs, that kind of a thing.
Ooh.
Are some reports about some bad fog at night, especially around this time of year,
So
I
guess
you're getting lost in time and space in that fog.
Not our problem.
the plan in my mind is we go to Kingsport, establish lodging, and then on the way, I have something for Benowitz said Garza, but we establish lodging, and then then locate to the site. I guess just establish cover and the investigation. Go from there.
You're trying to make it sound like you have some sort of plan, but that's a whole lot of nothing.
I'm gonna try a line of contact to establish cover.
All right.
So perhaps once we get to Kingsport, we can locate several of the contacts, determine locations of the sheriff, Dakota Ward, see if they're at the site or in town. Perhaps locate Barbara Luna for questioning, and get ourselves set up in town before heading out to the site.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
that's
sound
more
like a
detailed.
good idea?
Yeah.
And you do also have the Luna tapes.
Yeah,
When-
I'm
when-
gonna try
In English, study time hours.
I am going to try and get to full disclosure. I'm going to try and establish a line of connection with the university. I
right.
have guest lectured there a couple of times, so I
I believe this would
assume-
be a your pick, bureaucracy or persuade check.
I think this would be persuade. I just
Sure.
as an occult history professor, I think they
Yeah.
probably either know of me or have had me guest lecture there.
Yeah, so
Especially
you're just
because
gonna
I'm
you're gonna try and
900
dig up the phone number for Alice Armitage, the archaeology professor at Miskatonic University, who is spearheading the student volunteer effort.
Totally not a familiar name or anything.
Oh, excuse me.
Probably descendant of someone that did something.
Axe got it.
Not
The
important.
guy in the back got it.
I mean, you don't have a last name like Armitage and don't think something happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was old back then too, so.
Yeah, for the if you aren't familiar with it, gosh, I forget his first name, but
So,
Professor
Ford,
Armitage
right?
was a recurring character in HPL stories. A professor at Miskatonic University. He may even have been the dean. I don't remember.
I think he was the guy who beat the dude to death in the Dunwich Horror.
Yes.
Had the dog.
No,
kill
Wait, no,
the dude.
wait.
The
no,
dog
yeah,
killed
The
that
dog
guy.
killed the dude.
he got,
but
yeah, like the mutant
It
guy.
was,
got
it was
killed
his
by a
library
dog.
that was getting broken into. Anyway, let's not fight about the Dunwich Horror.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dallas. Persuasive.
regardless, yeah, I'm gonna be like, I have come into the area and I'm offering my services as a guest lecturer on. Here are my fees. Oh wait, hold on, let me check. So it has to
couldn't
be
you,
under the
like, just-
percentage.
Actually, Dallas, you have archaeology. Couldn't you just like say you want to volunteer with the effort since it's all volunteers right now?
True,
I just hear the dial-up noise.
but I mean, no, I actually do have a question though.
Yeah.
You said it has to be below the percentage.
Yes. Well, at or below. If you
Okay,
roll
then I
it
got
dead on,
it.
it's okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
rolled a dead 40.
Nice. That's actually very good. Delta Green is like Eclipse Phase. It uses blackjack rules. Rolling higher without
Okay.
going over is better, especially for opposed rolls. So yeah.
Yeah.
No. You have a brief phone conversation, maybe on like a public telephone in the hotel lobby or something, or your regular cell phone. whatever you got.
I probably don't recognize the person, as the last time I talked to them was probably his predecessor.
Alice, hers. But yeah, you talk to
Okay.
her, and she's actually quite like, oh yes, actually that would be great. We're dealing with a little bit of field experience right now, but it's unusual. You may have heard about it on the news. Found some bones. I almost thought of calling you. I thought they were gonna be it was gonna be another one of those Native American burial ground situations, but these turned out to be more modern. So now the FBI is involved, but it's a little weird. Why don't you come on by? Here's the address.
No
Talk to me.
problem. I wouldn't hurt giving some of the younger students good field exercise work.
Yeah. So okay, you've secured your inn.
Yeah.
It's already said.
Yeah. So I'll inform the group that I have an inn. I have a cover story and somewhat of an inn. I don't think it's like a full inn to the university. It's more just they won't ask questions of why I'm around.
If we're lucky, we don't need to go to the university directly unless it comes up.
I mean, you could always try and raid their library, but that's
I'm
gonna
not gonna
be
raid their
rough.
library.
Well, that's a separate thing. That's not a thing we're doing on the books.
Anyway, yes. Benowitz says a thing to Garza. Otherwise, anything else you guys are doing on your drive to Kingsport? They probably
Do you wanna
well.
listen to the tapes on the drive
Listen
there,
to
or-
tapes.
Do we all want to listen to the tapes?
I think you mentioned not to listen to tapes while we're in the car.
No, he said we couldn't. But here's the thing.
But not-
Omega said there's a study time.
Yes,
Right.
I'm sorry if that wasn't clear. I clarified the Lunatapes in English study time hours. Yes,
That
this
means
is
there's
a
a
this is a
thing.
source of unnatural lore.
All right, fine. Let's all listen to it in the car at the same time.
I mean, I don't know if Aren wants that, because Aren is very much like, no.
I
these kind of
mean,
things.
it's still.
Wait, does this tape player have headphone jacks?
Yes, it is set up because it's probably something the FBI had from recording old surveillance audio tape. You can rig headphones if you want.
Do you have like a 4-way splitter?
No, I do not.
I would
recommend.
recommend that. If you're gonna do that, I would actually recommend that Benowitz maybe doesn't listen because he's driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe get a 2-way splitter just for you and I guess Holland.
Well, I mean, who wants to go down that slippery fucking slope? That's the question.
Sure.
Garza does. 'cause
Sure,
he
why
understands
not?
What's going on? So
I'll listen to them after you guys are done.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, there's multiple things. So I know Axe wants to. What did Garcia?
Axe will probably maybe Axe and Dallas will pick up later. Garza said he'd be okay to listen.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's
If you have it
everybody.
not
So no,
head-
we could
if you
just
have it not be-
probably.
If you have it just be not headphones.
Well,
I think
remember,
it's driving,
I'm not in the car.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
driving his motorcycle to the
okay, that's
hotel,
right,
so he
that's
doesn't
right.
leave it somewhere.
And you're driving, Axe. We don't want you hearing these horrible things while driving.
It's true. You guys don't know if or how much sand loss would be involved.
Okay,
but
so
I will
here's the thing.
let you know
I'm
ahead.
gonna do my duty as the fucking thing. I'm gonna listen to them first and just see how bad it is.
Okay, fair enough.
That's fine.
We'll have Kara listen to it in the car, and if her brain doesn't melt out her
If
ears,
she
it's gonna
doesn't
be okay.
die, it's fine.
Just give a play-by-play when you're listening to it.
During the
your
drive, then Garza will see to the thing that Benowitz mentioned to see if the DA has any anything on the DeLuna estates.
All right. What's your law score?
And the law is 30%.
Okay, go ahead and roll it for me.
Okay. That is a 20.
All right. Okay, you cycle through your agency numbers and all your normal stuff, and you don't really find anything, directly drug related. But you do, there's the great Department of Homeland Security and all the sharing all the intelligence. So you're able to cross-reference some other files. You do note that there are. They have not apparently been digitized, but there is a FBI field office in Kingsport where there may be some old records from the Bureau of Investigation days you guys can actually track down in full, not just the short stuff you got in your briefing. And also, there is an issue of civil law. Apparently, a individual named Charles de Lune, who, according to the suit details, is a distant relative who is descended from some of the guys who went to France. He has come back and is apparently in the middle of a civil suit with Barbara Luna to claim ownership of the property. This is why they haven't been able to actually directly issue a warrant to search the house right away, because whom do we serve the warrant to? It's currently in court.
I feel there is something. So this is just something weird. But I feel like there's something up with the males of this fucking family.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But,
It's really weird, but there seems to be a lot of focus around the guys.
And
If they
then
could
there's
do
the
some
fact
kinda-
that
I mean,
bloodline
it was the
thing?
40s. It's not like the women of the family could have joined the U.S. Army. So
Yeah, but-
Omega, dumb question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Well, I guess I just have this weird feeling, but I just wanted to get that out
that's
of the
fair.
air.
That's fair. You want to get it out in the
Well-
air, but I would like to point out there is
Yeah.
the reason
There's
why it
also
was
the
brought up in
fact
the
that,
initial
like,
briefing. Was
Erwin Luna was tried to dragged, seduced into the house or something like that.
Well, they said they invited him in and
Yeah.
whatnot.
well,
and,
Kara's figuring that out while she's listening to the tapes right now. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dumb question.
Yeah,
Dumb question.
I'm specialized.
Okay, you said some of the puncture dentation marks are not human.
Yes.
It's not all cannibalism.
No.
Rats.
What's your survival? It's really high, isn't it?
Very
Yeah.
high.
No, that looks like rodentia, specifically some kind of large
Okay.
rat.
But all of these are identifiable. Like, there's nothing that is like, hold on, this is
Yeah,
fucking
no.
weird.
At this time period, you don't know. There's a couple more.
There's no half rat, half human marks. is what I'm
Yes.
asking.
Yeah. From what you've seen so far from the remains, there's nothing exotic or unnatural yet. If there was, DG probably would have locked down the scene. But right now, it's just a case of, hey, we found a weird mass grave full of cannibalism skeletons, but we know
Actually,
this house is weird, so...
Here's a question: Are these rats that should be where they are?
I was about to ask you, is the rats common?
Yeah, I believe that would be local. What is the... For various reasons,
Okay.
I have looked up local mammalians in Massachusetts. No, they are not rodents of unusual size.
No, but my main question is like, were these like special like? I know it's always some rat from like South America or Africa. I'm just saying.
Like special magical albino rats.
Like, did they bring it over? But if not, okay, that's different.
I mean, again, I said this before.
They would be the common Norway rat,
Okay.
aka the brown rat, probably,
Squeaketh.
because that's the kind that we import with us. They get in all our boats. Where's you rats? Oh, and I should mention with the law roll, because it succeeded, you have another name in addition to Charles de Lune. You know that his lawyer is named Rickard A. Clayton.
Clayton.
Oh,
It's
Jesus
Clayton.
Christ!
How the fuck are we gonna get a warrant? I guess to find some loophole to get a warrant to not be marked as trespassing in the middle of a civil suit. Ugh.
Oh, well,
Or you
here's
just do it in the middle of the night.
I was
I
about
don't
to
know.
say,
You can
we're
black
all
that
like,
shit.
Don't get caught.
do you know, like, this is my third, recorded case. I am completely amoral about just hopping fucking fences at this time.
Also,
Yeah.
you work at the CDC. What do you give a shit about constitutional rights?
Well, yeah, it's also it's.
Like
I've said this
you were doing
before.
like illegal vaccine. You were doing like
Eh.
vaccine tests. Like,
Well, we live in a time where the fucking
I mean,
we're not like super
as a
in the nose, but yeah, no, like I've done some shady shit.
Also,
I mean, as a
All- the guy who's on the motorcycle doesn't know this, but all of you in this SUV right now, this government-issued SUV, remember the last time you were in a government-issued SUV where your fifth passenger was a dead guy in a tarp? Like,
yeah, it's more of like I was doing it just so we had it as like a cover for anything if
Look.
something happened. But
you can
Laws-
attempt that. That would require some law rules that may be contested by a guy. We'll get into
Oh,
that
yeah,
when
for
you're
sure.
driving.
Laws and morals are not the same thing.
So, the Luna tapes in English. I do have one of those here. All right. So it takes you a couple of hours where you listen to the tapes. I will tell you the effects mechanically now. You gain... All right. You gain 1% unnatural,
Oh, there goes
and
my-
you lose 2 sand.
Oh no.
It's a D4.
Oh, okay.
So, anybody who studies the tapes gains 1% unnatural and loses 1d4 sand. So, this is a series of edited cassette tapes recorded by Agent Dan of the CIA.
Dan of Steel.
The Dan of Steel. It contains an informal briefing / debriefing of Erwin Luna sometime after 1972. Dan says in the early tapes that he's compiling this. You know, you get to hear him talk to Erwin Luna, who identifies himself as, I think I said Staff Sergeant? Yes, Staff Sergeant, SSG. In the Marines,
Mhm.
Marine Force Recon. He was a spook.
Spooks.
Spook him.
Oh, he's spooky.
So, you know, you see some early dialogue. He's like, you know, Agent Dan, why are you recording these? And he's like, I'm gonna record these down for transcription later, and I'll pass on the relevant information to people in the know. They spend a little bit of time, and this is where your unnatural and your sand loss comes from for the most part. They spend a little bit of time jawing about operations Luna took part in as part of MACV SOG, the Special Operations Group in Vietnam, with his Delta Green clearance. He fought villages of something you think is pronounced Chowan? Chow Chow? Chua?
all those things.
It's audio, so you don't know. There are a strange Central Asian people who fled into areas of Vietnam and Cambodia, and they were allegedly responsible for practices related to the unnatural. There are stories of cannibalism, human sacrifice, alchemy, herbalism, etc. But after that icebreaker, you spend most of this ride listening to Luna recount his family history and his experience at the Umbral House. He says that his branch of the de Lune family left their estate to join the Union Army during the Civil War. Having developed abolitionist sympathies, his ancestor ended up marrying an African-American woman, which led to him being disowned, hence why he changed his name. because they're really racist in Massachusetts. And they ended up moving out of Massachusetts proper for a while. Though he does state that according to his family records, he believes that the Lune family may have integrated some aspects of African folk religion into their own occult knowledge. The families basically stayed separate. Occasionally, they sent probing letters back and forth where they would talk about occult things or money or whatever. How you doing, until the 40s where, and Luna phrases it explicitly in the tapes as, supposedly all the adult male heirs of the family were killed in France trying to obtain occult artifacts from the Avignon region, which was their ancestral home. So after that, they apparently tried to get in touch with the Luna branch for support and were loaned some money.
Okay.
But from there, Luna didn't really keep track of them. He didn't realize that, all this weird stuff was real until he got read into Delta Green. And then after he returned home from Vietnam in the early 70s, he got a letter of contact. The last of the family contacted him and told him to, come by. They're in a family emergency, something like that. Since he had known the old family rumors and had his own experiences in Vietnam, he took it upon himself to investigate. And then you get into, the serious portion, which is his narrative of the house incident. His reports on the Umbral House are candid and direct, but detached, employing the professional demeanor you'd expect from a Special Forces veteran. He met with the extended Lune clan. He said that they were down to less than a dozen members. There were a couple of, according to his word, decrepit old men and a couple of young men who managed to grow up post-war, and a handful of women of various alleged ages, though he said that all of them looked surprisingly young for what generation they preferred to be. Luna says that he immediately got the same feeling from his distant kin as he did when fighting the Tachoans, and did guesstimate based on the lack of outside men and women. There did seem to be maybe some cousin marriage going on. Keep it in the family, as they say. There were some house servants, but they were unusually docile, appearing drugged or mesmerized. And basically, he engaged in a brief fight. He found that despite their age, several of the Lunes seemed unusually strong. He broke out, though, when he pulled his sidearm. He fled to his truck, where he was prepared. He grabbed his rifle and also some explosives he acquired from a contact. Yes, he completely glosses this over, by the way. He's just like, and I got my bag of C4 out of the truck. So he fought his way to the kitchens. He sabotaged their ovens and caused an explosive detonation of the house, which caused a fire. And then he fired on anybody fleeing the manor he could see. So, guy after your own heart, Dr. Robin. He does admit to Dan he may not have accounted for literally everyone, but he thought he got everybody. He originally planned to detonate the several accesses to the basement he found to seal them up. But he heard a unusual cry from the depths of the house, and then a swarm of vermin, rats and other rodents, suddenly dashed into the house, and he figured it was better to get out of there before anything too weird got out. He said that he hasn't been questioned by the police or anything. And then Agent Dan implies that his Delta Green contacts may be pressuring officers to not prosecute on the situation, given the Lune family rumors, because nobody seems to have liked them. And that is what you know from those tapes.
Gotcha.
All right.
So Carl will take off the headphones and be like, okay, that wasn't as bad as it could be. I think your brains will not melt out your ears, but this is... she pauses for a sec and says, worrying.
Shorthand, preemptively?
Shorthand, spooky old family with maybe spooky powers and spooky rats.
Oh, okay. We got like some bloodline hypergeometry.
I don't know if it's hypergeometry.
Huh.
Eyes on the road, Benowitz.
He's not turning his head.
Yeah, but
I know.
Well, Kara kind of mulls over it. It's like, I think like, I have nothing to actually base this on, but just from a few threads, it seems family oriented. The tapes seem to imply that there was some banjos playing in their family, and that there seemed to be a very, what's the word I want to use? Lack of diversity in it, and their ages are so weird, except for the women.
Do you think it's
No,
some
no.
kind of...
The women were weird too.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. Like, the ages was weird, and the women were too. But the women were just like, all the ages were weird, and all that stuff. It's like, she leans back in her chair and tries to mull over for some facts. Like,
also, by the way, we were
weird,
Agent Orange and Napalm. We were using that against the occult in Vietnam. In case you didn't know, I learned that too.
That tracks.
but it's just one of those things of just like, but aside from all that though, these tapes say that the guy got most of them. When were these tapes from?
This would be shortly after the incident, so recorded sometime after 1972, 73?
1972, yeah, so this was over 30 years ago.
50, actually. 50-ish.
Oh, yeah, you're right, my bad. I don't know why I was thinking.
No, it's 2020 something right now.
Yeah, so 2020X. Like, that's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And allegedly, until all that heavy erosion and somebody found some bones, not a peep. Or was there a peep? You haven't looked at any records lately.
No,
You know, like I said, that from the documents, some of these people are... The local folks did not like this family.
Considering what we know about various vectors, I still think it might be a bloodline thing.
I don't wish to say any way of thing. The only thing I think I can say for sure right now is mind the rats. That's all I have. We have rodent bites on bones, and we have a spooky incident involving rats in this family.
Did the tapes mention anything about rats?
Yes.
Better rats than bugs.
Like, yes, apparently when Agent Luna was going to blow the house to Kingdom Come, basically the house got swarmed by a fuck ton of rats. And he was all like, nope, I'm done.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily better rats than bugs. Bugs usually wait till you're dead.
I see we're having this conversation in the hotel room.
Probably, actually, yeah.
Well, like you said, it said the tapes would take several hours, right?
Yes, no. And that's probably the bulk of your trip.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I will have been doing something while on my bike. So I'm going to take out my phone. I'm basically jam it into the holster on my helmet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to dial up my home base. My National Park Service team.
Or
Yep.
where they... Sorry, I've been trying to write notes here.
Let me see. Can I dump the entire... I mean, the rest of you going to listen back to it?
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, it's nothing that's going to warp your mind, but you might not feel okay after it.
Oh, I definitely am.
Garza will listen to it.
So we'll work
I will
on
too,
that.
just so we're like on the same page.
Kara, when you guys get to the hotel, Kara just takes the headphone jack out and just click.
Yeah, after we...
And then Kara's going to pour herself a drink because she brought... Thanks to Prichter. Yeah.
I have plenty of sanity to burn.
Do you guys want to roll your own d4s?
Sure.
Since there's several of you.
That's 2.
Yep.
That would... I think that would trigger an acute episode of something about disorder. But,
Yep. I believe they
That
simplified it that way.
is
And remember, you get plus 1%
3.
in the natural.
I now have 3% in the natural.
Well, I got a 1, so I've seen people get eaten by rats before. Not that crazy.
All right, Darin will excuse himself. He's good.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe rats aren't better than bugs.
Darren's probably seen multiple rats in any other country.
Okay.
They're not great.
That was the point of that.
But yeah, so while you were on your bike ride, Jack was going to call phone home. What was he going to call?
Yeah, I'm gonna call out basically a historical I know this site has the DeLunas on it, but I want to check back before that. any
Alright.
notable historical moments of, like, because yes, it's probably related to this family, but it also could have been there before this family, and I want to check that.
All right. What's your total history right now?
70, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, you can correctly order this research. So,
No, sorry, 60.
60. Still pretty good. So that's quite good. All right.
My
So,
cult is 80.
find in my notes. So, the short version you dig up is going back. So the Umbral House was built by the Lune family pre-revolution, so in the colonial period, pre-America. They emigrated from France in the Avignon region. They apparently modeled the house after their ancestral home, the Chateau d'Umberville. That's House of Shadowville. And also built the Essex Priory. So yes, remember there is a priory on these lands as well that was supposed to have.
They built the priory.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, that's
of course we're not
shit,
fucking
that's
church scene here.
different.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just like I'm like, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
Now
connect
you
dots.
guys did know from the briefing packet the priory was closed around the turn of the 20th century, so early 1900s.
Okay.
But
And it was a
yeah, there's
standard
multiple
Catholic?
buildings on site. So they were quite well off and moved into the local lumber and land trade, and apparently were involved in historical trades ancestrally of bookbinding and silversmithing. However, because you are so good at history, and because of your specialization, you discover that according to records that have been taken later, because obviously during the colonial period, people didn't give a shit about this, but the local Wampanoag tribes, which I believe is an Algonquin language group,
Yep.
they have some historical records that your team is easily able to dig up, where, according to local legends, they avoided that area. No, it is not an Indio Bandit ground. It was supposed to
that's
be
not good.
a place of bad luck, a source of hungry spirits who would steal your food. And according to oral history that's been recorded, that region was supposed to actually, because you guys have seen like distant photos of the dig site and up close photos of the dig site, but distant sites of the house, and maybe even found some like historical photos. It's up on a hill. According to the oral history of the local Indian tribes, it used to be a depression that had standing stones in it.
Oh no.
According to the colonial records and property assessments, there is no report of a depression or standing stones, only that the priory was, quote unquote, quarried from local rock.
Yes, I actually swear in Algonquin.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah. There's
I
something
apologize
under
if
that
it's very
house.
dense, but it's very dense. But you guys are asking a lot of questions.
I
Oh,
know,
no,
and I wish
no,
you
it's
guys
okay.
wouldn't. Fuck.
Sorry.
All right. You're at the hotel. You listen to the
Ah.
tape. You lose your sand. You get your unnatural. It's probably like mid-afternoon now. Let's refocus a little.
Out of character. If that hill was just a giant nest full of magic rats, I'd be the
Axe,
fucking
no,
hero.
no time for this.
We don't play the speculation. All right, so you refocus. You guys know some of your things about the briefing. You're in Kingsport. You know that that's where Barbara Luna lives.
At this point, I'll share the information I got on the ride about the
Yes.
civil suit.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to write.
There.
Keep talking. Fuck.
Play an investigative game.
I know, but is the thing.
But people, there's 5 of us. We're all asking for different leads, so I get it. Let me know if you need me to go back over anything.
I'll probably have to do that like after the session's over, so I can organize this all. But okay, so we have a civil suit. We probably at some point should talk to the sheriff. Well, us probably sans the professor here. The professor has his own end. We don't have to necessarily make we don't necessarily have to make our relation super public. If we hang out in the same circles, that's okay, but he doesn't have to be part of our investigation. We don't necessarily have to be part of his. If you get what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't. So that way he can maintain his cover. So us four should probably go and say, hey, we're part of, points to. Ax, what's your character's? I'm sorry, I'm horrible at this. Are you Benowitz or?
Yes, Benowitz.
Benowitz, thank you. I was like, Carl will point to Benowitz. We're part of his team to help aid in the investigation. Blah 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 blah. And maybe we can do some fast talking. I will not be doing fast talking. I am horrible at fast talking. Last time I did fast talking, I had to sneak into jail.
I will, Handler, I will try to cover this.
Yeah.
Cool. After which, we'll see if we can gain legal access to whatever we can. We would probably want to get access to the bones, wherever the bones were found, which might be a little bit its own things, and basically start investigating, persons of interest. Persons of interest being, let me scroll up here, Barbara Luna,
Charles de Luna.
Or
de Lune, I should say.
Yeah, you got this better than I do, but yeah, persons of interest. Other than that, I don't know necessarily what we should do.
Yeah. I did forget to ask when we introduced each other. Is anyone here working in Homeland Security?
No.
Or related areas?
No, we got CDC, FDA, DEA.
Well, so technically, I'm pretty sure the DEA and the FBI are now part of DHS after the great 9/11ing, but...
So, who works in DEA?
That'd be me.
Okay, yeah, you would have information on me that no one else has, or no one else in the group has.
Well, that's only if you look at it.
But that includes the handler.
Yeah.
True.
I don't have that information on you.
Well, no, yeah, you would have that information on me. Too.
Yeah, but
Well,
I don't.
have not
Out
had
of
any
character,
reason
the
to
handler
look
doesn't
up
know.
information on your
That's
character,
fair.
so...
No, that's fair.
We'll see if it comes up.
Well,
In before
I'll
Dallas
type it to
PMs me
Omega.
a 5-document.
It's not 5 documents, it's like 1 sentence.
Okay.
He's still going to PM.
I am.
Well, yeah, he does it. It's okay. I'll mention if it becomes relevant. But okay, sounds like you've got your plan.
Aiden, Garza and I should probably also look up old case records involving the previous incidents at the estate.
That would specifically be you, buddy, because that's you're in Kingsport. That's where an FBI field office is.
Yeah, I guess I'll be busy looking through old files and maybe
Though,
discussing of a lawyer.
Not to put too much pressure on, but Marth. But Holland could also as I mentioned in Kingsport. There's supposed to be
Navy Intelligence.
Yeah, the Office of Navy Intelligence still has a building here somewhere.
I guess I'll check with them.
What's your persuade and bureaucracy like, my dude?
Base.
You want me to come along then? Because
we're in no moral danger. I think we're be safe to split up. I think I can go with him, and I'll just fast talk. Him. Actually, I don't know. It's gonna be really weird if a CDC is trying to talk to naval intelligence about stuff for the Navy, dude. But we can maybe make it work. I don't know. Because I do have 60 in persuade. I'm not very nice about it though.
I mean, one of the things you can do with public safety is supposed to be able to get credentials and things. So you could. It is hypothetically possible that you could just say you're on a related case and you check the Navy files and you're escort, I guess.
Yeah.
Escort, assistant, dude,
he shows his
hired gun.
He shows his credentials, so everything checks out essentially.
This time I'll be your assistant.
Yeah.
Or something like that. We will go. We go.
All right, I'll go to the.
I grab Holland by the collar and we go.
I go to the case house. Garza, do you want to join me as I go through files, or do you think do you think we should be the sheriff first beforehand?
I think we should probably talk to the sheriff first.
All right, let's go establish contact.
All right. So you guys are going to, with no checks required, with some quick phone calls, you can discover that as he is on most days, Sheriff Ward is overseeing the excavation site out at, the dig.
Right.
So you, at least you two will go. What do you want to do, Professor?
Am I at Arkham?
Well, you guys are in Kingsport with your hotel where you guys were staying. So, do you want to go to Arkham?
I probably have to.
Well,
At least
for what?
establish the base of my cover. Isn't
Yeah, okay.
Miskatonic in Arkham?
Yeah, it's in there. So you
Yeah,
want to check in with the
there's-
university? All right, yeah. We can
just
gloss over that. You
Do
go to the
boring
university. Check in.
logistical details.
Yeah. You find out that similarly, your contact, Professor Armitage, is also on site.
Yeah.
So you may.
We'll probably inform her. Like, how close wise is like Arkham to Kingsport?
They're fairly close together.
Lucky, my notes look like a fucking train crash.
That's
After the
mine
point,
too.
like-
That's why I'm trying to ask if anyone else got them so I can try and correlate some stuff.
Like,
Yeah,
I only had stuff at the beginning, and then I started.
I have names.
I
have
took
a lot
down
of
a
names.
lot of notes that Garza would know, so like he doesn't have necessarily the notes that the professor learned at all. So
I don't know. Like, I don't care. We hive mine, and I'm hive mining everyone. Everyone got earbud communicators. Hive mine. Fuck you. We hive.
Yeah,
mine.
I don't.
I'm not-
Yeah.
unless you specifically say I'm keeping this secret from everybody else. I'm considering anything that you research as public domain. Okay.
That seems fair, at the very
Yeah,
least,
that's
because
fair.
we're
That's
running into an information problem.
yes.
Yeah,
I,
'cause
I definitely have a note of what happened to Delta Green, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My notes are evil rats, hyphen possibly were rats.
Okay.
Indians hate this place, full of evil juju.
Mhm.
Apparently, no one can agree on how this place was built.
Okay, let's.
Well, anyway, I'm willing for people to keep doing this
Just,
stuff and doing it and typing. It's just I wanted people to ask if anyone
This-
had
Wanted to
some
make
sense.
sure
This-
we're getting on the same page
County,
somehow.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Thorns,
I'll send it to you.
House,
after,
Essex
after-
Priory. Clearance program closed for reasons that dark.
That would
Yeah.
require you to look at historical documents. Perhaps check out the offices of the Arkham Advertiser, located in Arkham, Miskatonic. Arkham.
I actually am
Massachusetts.
going to do some research while I'm at Arkham.
Okay,
as
we will get
well.
back to you then, because you
What's-
got now. Not only are you 5 people doing 5 different sets of not you know what I mean, but now you're also in different places. So
We're three.
Yeah.
We're like 3 sets of people doing 3
Okay.
No,
different
that's fine. I figured if I'm at the evil occult hive hub information hub, might as well investigate the possibly evil French place.
okay, all right. Let's start with the Office of Naval Intelligence because that's the closest. You would arrive there soonest.
Okay.
So you guys bust down. You know where it is, even though it's supposed to be a nondescript office park. So, what's your? You have like 60 persuade, right? Rob,
Yes.
Aren? All right. So. You can check in fairly quickly. I'm not going to fight you about it. You just are like,
Okay.
yeah, I got clearance to be here. I got top secret clearance. It's fine. Are you would have to make some kind of request. What is the nature of the information you're requesting?
What do you think, Marth? Do you think we should just go
Nature.
for basically any records we have on the Umbral House and the Lune family?
Yeah. Because I'm sure there's probably just files just on them because of reasons.
Yeah, so let's go with let's do the piece in. So let's go with Charles the Lune, Barbara Luna, Umbral House, Essex Priory, just the whole kit and caboodle.
All right. Office of Naval Intelligence. No hits on any of the modern people we've mentioned. Charles de Luna, etc. Though he did. You would probably find there as part of a basic background check on Charles. His credentials are he's a dual citizen of America and France.
Maybe he's from the old family, way old family.
and but no obvious notes about the Luna branch of the family anywhere. Other than that, even with your special access clearance, because the Marines are the department of the Navy. If you try to look up Staff Sergeant Erwin Luna's file, ooh, lots of black, so much black.
You have to go a different way around for that.
Yeah, no, that would be if you wanted that stuff. You got to call your handler. But it's very much like, it's all, and like I said, he was MacV Sog, which is spelled this way, in Vietnam. So that's the Military Assistance Command Vietnam Studies and Observations Group. So, those are the guys like, going into the jungle kind of shit. And all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, a lot of that is probably still classified, or at the very least, we don't talk about that anymore. But yeah, he was out in the jungles fighting guys, shooting people, sneaking things, tapping phone lines, all that kind of stuff. Going in tunnels. So
doing things while all along the watchtower plays in the background.
Yeah. So and like I said, he was attached also with Marine First Recon. So yeah, Special Forces, very highly trained. They keep track of all of his benefits and stuff. Apparently, he died a couple of years ago and optioned for cremation. Though there is a memorial to him in a cemetery up in Arkham.
Sorry, I'm gonna say, let's go dig up his grave and just see if he left to create a C4 for us, just in case.
No, we might just.
No, it's unfortunately it's a plaque. This isn't Terminator. There's not a coffin full of shotguns there. It's
oh my god!
That's not to say though that I may have told you guys before. There is a machine gun hidden somewhere in this scenario.
We might need to shoot like.
I'm not going to say that Sergeant Luna didn't leave you a present, a goodie bag.
I'm joking. I'm saying this as a joke, but like if we have to like machine gun a sea of rats, I'm not surprised.
I mean, at that point, I'm going Molotov cocktails or nothing.
Probably more like a flamethrower.
But yeah, what you do find that ONI has is about the Lune family specifically is you find once again those records that were mentioned in your briefing. And maybe you jiggle some things, but you find some notes about the old green triangle, right?
Oh.
That program apparently integrated into. Let me make sure. It was the OSS's P4 desk, which was the predecessor of the Special Access Program. Even though that was the 40s, and it's been like almost 100 years. How are they the predecessor? Doesn't make sense. Institutional knowledge is weird, reorganization. Everything got jumbled after 9/11, Please don't ask your bosses or me what department of the U.S. government Delta Green falls under.
Department of
technically it's
Technically it's fuck you.
Technically it's a conglomeration of like 6 different departments.
No, we could. I guarantee you, if we asked what department we're in, we could ask 5 different people and get 6 different answers.
Probably yes. Some of you might say Homeland Security. Some people might say Defense. Somebody might say the Interior.
Handler, he would tell us, 6 different answers.
I like to think we're part of the Men in Black.
Oh, excuse me.
But apparently, in addition to going to France, during the whole D-Day thing, some of them said they professed, knowledge of archaeology and occult history, and they wanted to volunteer for a special assignment with the OSS Office of Strategic Services, the proto-CIA. And they were turned down due to background check concerns related to that investigation during the 20s and 30s. Allegedly, ties to bootlegging, organized crime, other stuff. Probably have to go with local police or FBI to get those records because they don't exactly transfer. But yeah, they tried to get in the OSS and were told, no, don't do that.
Okay, so it seems like this family has tried to put a lot of effort into getting their mitts on occult stuff. like they sent their boys overseas back to France to maybe pick up some things from their ancestral home. They made attempts to join, secret organizations that might have secret intelligence.
There's also the fact that they might have integrated African occultism into their practices.
Yes,
That was in the
It's like this stinks of they're trying to do something. I don't know if this is just general power gathering or they're trying to aim for something specific.
Also, apparently they can manipulate the land.
Oh,
So
I don't know if
there's
it's
that.
I don't know. Well,
Or they're hiding some. Look. All of my notes point to one thing. There's something under that house.
Well, yeah, no. There's
I don't know
something
what's under
but
that house.
I don't like
Your initial reports from the Bureau of Prohibition was that they stored and moved an unusual amount of booze, perhaps indicating there was some kind of basement we're going to investigate, and he was never heard from again.
I mean,
It may have been a
I'm pretty sure that the hill was covered and then the house was built on top of that. So the whatever covered the depression may have happened before the loons got there.
But is the house on the hill haunted?
It's
all
totally
I can think
fucking
right
haunted.
now is that the.
Listen, didn't you hear the thing? It's a place for hungry spirits who will steal your food.
all
Yeah,
I can
no,
say is
I.
the
It's
tomb
fucking
must not
haunted.
be open.
Yes,
What's
Aren,
up?
you were saying.
Sorry.
I was just saying that, making a reference from Gideon the 7th or the 9th. The tomb must not be opened.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or we're
boy.
gonna fucking open it, and we're not gonna need fucking blood underneath our nails.
Or will you?
We're gonna probably want to be wearing.
Okay, so clearly this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna summon the hunter. We're gonna strap C4 to him, and we're gonna send them in.
we need a target first. You need a target for that.
You gotta tell him. You're gonna get him to say, God is great and Boogeyman.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna actually do that, but be prepared for me to make constant Shadowhunter jokes. Constantly.
Anyway,
How do you come up with a thug? We need to get a thug for this. Like, no, we
So,
don't.
that's you guys. You were probably done first. Where would you be bouncing to next?
Actually, probably. Well, no, we're gonna want to hook up back with the FBI agents if we actually want to get police records, because I'm gonna want to check in on that prohibition shit.
All right, so you wanna head out to the dig site then?
Yeah.
Because they're probably, by the time you're done, they're probably arriving at the dig site.
Yes.
So let's roll and cut to you guys. All right. You guys arrive at a couple hours drive outside of Kingsport and Arkham, kind of in between the two in the unincorporated county. You're in an area that seems scenic, rolling hills. Just on the edge of the horizon, on the tallest hill on the property, you can see the dingy, dark, soot-stained roof of Umbral House hanging over you. Around you, there are half-dead oak and willow trees dotting crinkled, dry grass under cloudy skies. It is still, late February, early March. So, it's a little cold and wet.
Remind me to visit this place in summer next time.
It'll be a different kind of shitty.
And
It's Massachusetts. They have like one season, and
Can
it's
we
just
have
muggy.
an incident on the Bahamas during tourist season so I can just maybe get some rays?
We
Please
wouldn't have
don't
clearance.
ask us to have an incident in South America. That never ends well.
Oh
no. I should send you guys to Guam or Bikini Atoll. We'll send you to the Pacific.
I'm about to say, don't worry. Sometimes South America comes to you.
I don't
I don't want to
wanna-
deal with demon squids.
I mean, you're ready for demon
Yeah.
sex apes? I had to deal with demon sex apes.
No drug bugs.
or fucking shoggoths in the ocean.
demon
Fuck.
Look, everything is bigger in the
Sharks.
islands, and it's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta go to the Galapagos.
Even the Cthulhu things are bigger than in the fucking.
What if you find a mysterious island that's never been mapped, and then it turns out it's just a giant
I'm
turtle?
gonna
named
turn the
Dave?
fuck around.
I mean, it depends if the turtle's benign or not.
Would our adventure just be described by the hillside thickets, the island song? Welcome to the
I
island.
love
I mean,
that song.
if the turtle's just like
Anyway.
hanging out minding his little business, we'll hang out, we'll chat, and then we'll be like, please don't drown me.
Okay, anyway, so the dig site, you guys basically see the whole shebang. There are large tents, tarps opened up. There are work lights set everywhere, and you can see. You guys are both federal agents. You know what a crime scene looks like, and a dig site, for bodies and stuff. They've got the grid squares. They've got everything sectioned off. There's big tables and tarps and all kinds of things. There are camcorders going, observing every possible minute. And you basically see two camps. On one side, there is a large van, clearly labeled Miskatonic University, bundled in with equipment and volunteer students. You see a bunch of college-age kids wearing, student IDs around their neck, going back and forth, hauling equipment out of the van, setting up under the tarps, carefully dusting and removing bones, cataloging everything. The dig site is an unincorporated county.
Oh, okay.
Just at the within visible distance of the house.
Okay.
Right on the edge of the property line.
Found within sight of Umbral House. Okay, I'm gonna put that.
Yes. It's in sight because it's on the tallest hill in the property.
I'm pretty sure that looks fucking terrifying when it's cloaked in shadow.
It's almost
I mean, it looks kind of gross from this distance. Like I said, you guys can see it looks like there's something blackened or distorted about some of the front facade and the roof. Since it was set on fire but didn't actually burn down.
Garza, I kind of hate how it's always obvious yet not obvious at the same time.
I don't want to think about that.
So clearly, we should not go to that house anytime soon.
Nothing is too obvious.
But so you can see an older woman, graying hair in a tweed coat with leather elbow patches, observing the students, occasionally correcting them or offering advice. On the other half, you guys see the FBI contingent. So there's a van. There's a big old van marked FBI there, and you see agents and windbreakers rolling out imaging and cataloging equipment, and they've got sat dishes on the van, which are trying to beam it back to the FBI via satellite, weather permitting, and doing all our high tech stuff. And in between the two camps, you see Miskatonic County Sheriff's Office. You see a middle-aged, late 30s man, nondescript ethnicity, wearing a big green sheriff's office windbreaker. Kind of growing out his hair a little long, and he's just sipping a discount coffee, watching people go back and forth.
Handler, just to remind me, because we've talked a lot since we've actually talked about our cover. The FBI people technically know we're supposed to be here already. Technically,
you have a valid reason to be on site if you gave your credentials. Yes.
All right.
Because they are from the FBI Lab's Victim Identification Project or Victims Project. Because these are unidentified victims, duh.
Right. Yeah. So I guess we'll leave those guys be until we need to ask some questions.
Oh, the bone dust.
I mean, you roll up in the. Actually, this is a good question. How you guys had one car? How are Kara and Holland going to get to the dig site?
Oh, that's true.
I guess we had to get a separate car.
Let's Uber.
All right.
I guess Uber.
That should probably be an incidental expense. Your Uber driver is going to treat you a little weird, but he's got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably $30 or 40.
Actually, let's see if we can. Maybe we can borrow a vehicle once we actually Uber there. Maybe we can borrow a vehicle from the intelligence office. Can we do that?
You might be able to get some extra.
We'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Well, no, they're at there. What's the? I mean, it's technically a major expense, but you're just gonna borrow it.
It might be a little more easy to do at the
Let's take
FBI
it.
office in Kingsport.
Did for a week.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to keep buying Ubers all over the place.
Well, if you're going to the site, then
We'll drive
you'll
you
be able
back.
to
Yeah,
come
you
back
guys
to
can get picked
Kingsport
up
with
there.
us, so
Are you guys gonna come pick us up from the naval office?
Well, that would be your Uber out there. I kind of figured you guys would. They probably dropped you off before
Oh,
they
okay,
left.
okay,
'cause you
okay.
guys
Oh, yeah,
went
then we can
first,
just Uber out
so-
to the dig site. Fine,
Yeah, and then hook up.
Yeah.
But yes, getting a temporary acquiring of a car is standard.
Okay.
Actually, straight up buying a pickup truck or SUV is a major expense, which is a whole. But you guys are not gonna. I mean, it's buying a car. It's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Air cars are always expensive.
I mean, they have the categories. So major is what 6,000 to 30,000. So
Okay, what if I want to buy a used Chevy pickup?
I mean, if you want to buy an item that's possibly a junker, we can drop that down to an unusual.
A waste car, buy like a burner car.
if you guys want to buy a piece of shit beater car, we can talk about that. But anyway, dig site, you guys are gonna you guys did pull up in a standard issue government licensed SUV, though yours is parked. So the FBI agents probably notice you, but if you don't walk over to them first, they don't bother you. They're busy doing crime stuff.
Yeah, they're doing what they want to do. Looks good. I guess right now it's Benowitz. It's too It's not bright enough to have shades on. Let's not bother.
Oh no, I have them on anyway.
All right, I don't because it's like I actually like being.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I need to.
All right. So you take off your aviator sunglasses. Garza leaves on his.
Yeah. I guess I approach the sheriff. Say,
kind of leans over, takes a sip. He puts it down on his. Hood. Takes out a hand.
Shows credentials. Special Agent Benowitz. I'm a separate detachment of the FBI investigation. This is my friend and consultant for this case, Agent Garza.
I'll give a nod and shake his hand.
All right, he shakes your hand and says, more feds. Well, kind of looks over at the scene, takes another sip of his coffee. I can't say I don't appreciate the help.
It's a doozy of a situation.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting when I got elected sheriff. So, what did you say? You're a separate detachment?
Yeah, we are not with victim identification. We're with investigating cold cases and other specific connections to the situation in the area.
Oh. Yeah, that tracks. So you guys heard about some of them old ghost stories, huh?
Something like that.
Specifically,
Yeah.
I have some cold cases from the DAA back from the Prohibition era before that we got our hands on. I'm just here to see if any of them match up with anything, shed some light on the situation.
Yeah, could sure use a lot of light. Well, the FBI lady, Dr. Vostok, she says that I'm still in charge, but she sure don't act like I'm still in charge. Kind of pats himself on the chest. Well, at the moment, I don't see any reason, jurisdictionally, shall we say, to object to your presence, If you want to check on your cold cases, usually later in the afternoon or early in the morning, I'm back at the office. I got some old banker boxes full of files on the place. There was a few things they heard.
That's always appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, I always heard when I was a kid the old story about the red coats.
Oh shit, I forgot.
The bloody coats, You know that one?
I got told about that recently. Something about like they killed all their unwanted guests, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's why we've got that Third Amendment.
Yeah.
There's also, supposedly it was a stop in the Underground Railroad. Supposed to be a big cellar where slaves would hide out and then get smuggled to Canada. And then there was the Priory, which was for Catholic nuns. That was until the early 1900s. That story always struck me as weird, but
it does seem
way
odd.
before my time. But nobody really hung around the place till that fire of '73.
Oh yeah. This house does always look kind of like. I always thought it just looked odd. I guess it did burn down, somewhat.
Yeah, allegedly, anyway. Well, not allegedly. I got the reports. It definitely got set on fire, but didn't really go anywhere, I guess. House stayed up. So, you need any more guidance from me, or you want to talk to the guys? I gotta warn you, I can't compel the Miskatonic kids to talk to you. They're volunteers and all, but
no,
I'm sure you guys will, understand the risks of your own when you go talk to college kids.
No, that's fine. I think I know. I remember being told
You
about
can
some legal
extend.
channels involving people in the university. I can ask about things.
Yo,
with
can I turn this
identity.
bone into a blunt? No, these are nerd students.
No,
I'm about to say it's all
No, these
like
are like those are like they would never say that. Yeah.
No,
They would never say that in front of a
these are
professor.
forensics and archaeology students. They're like, oh my god, I get to use the chisel and the 3-inch brush and these bones.
Like they actually get to do field work.
they got like a couple kids going gently.
Yeah.
Look, from experience, even nerds are still dumb.
Oh, they
Yeah.
are. Like I said, probably some selfies of some
Just a
people with
different
some
kind of
skulls
dumb.
have
They're
been
taking
taken.
pictures though.
but-
Yeah.
People doing the Alas Poor Yorick reenactments.
Oh,
Yes,
of course.
no,
like there's
that
a lot of
happens
Macbeth
a
going
lot.
on right about now.
You may, in fact, see a skull being gently lifted out of the dirt right now by some forensic students, and one of them, gloves and all, does the thing. Just like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
like, oh, that's
Yeah,
about right.
I was given need to know basis, that kind of thing, but I was given some channels to look into if they don't talk about things. Ask later.
All right, fair enough.
Nothing.
Your business. But yeah, let me know if you want to know anything.
Just to confirm this, no one's allowed to check the premises of the estate fully, not besides the site.
Yeah. At the moment, there's some kind of legal kerfuffle with what was her name? I shouldn't. Well, Miskatonic's a big beat. Was it Barbara Luna was the owner of the property now? Inherited from her old man, from her grandpa Irwin.
Sounds like
Something like that. But there's apparently some kind of distant relation who says that he's the legal owner of the property. It's all tied up in the courts right now, so it's a little hard to get a judge to sign off on a warrant when there's no direct connection. I mean, the property's been abandoned for 50 years, so we can't, at this time anyway, it cannot be established whether or not there's cause and effect, chain of evidence and all that stuff.
No, of course. I was wondering, since technically this area is your jurisdiction, if there was any directions we wanted to establish a warrant at some point of having to wait 6 months.
Kind of shrugs. I mean, if the carbon dating comes back and says it's from the historical period, maybe we can talk with a judge. Bribe the judge. Hey, whatever works to get your law rolls.
I mean, if the law was, I'm just gonna see if I can find some loopholes. We'll see.
Bribing. That's a
Well,
great
okay.
loophole.
So I have a criminal justice degree in real life. Your warrant, the way warrants work is you have to establish a reasonable cause for the search.
Yes.
Unreasonable searches and seizures are barred, so you have to
Right.
clearly establish the reasoning for your search. At the moment,
However,
there's not a clear link between Skelebones and House. So if you can discover a clear link.
Just to note on the bribery sector, it is almost 100% into the judge's jurisdiction to decide what a probable cause is.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
If the judge is the one who signs off on
Yeah,
your
I know.
warrant.
I was saying we can bribe a judge, but
So
I don't know if we have
the
the
only
ability.
other thing is what are called extenuating circumstances. You see this all the time in movies, and it does actually happen sometimes, where you could be like, "I think I heard a scream."
I guess the case is we need
you
to
know,
find some
that kind of
evidence that
thing,
links
but-
it to the Lune estate somehow. But yeah,
No,
something.
you cannot expedite carbon dating.
okay. Oh,
Actually,
carbon
by the
dating.
way.
I don't know why I said
So,
carbon burning. I'm done.
Let me find this in my exact notes. So the way radiocarbon dating works, with the way I've researched it, which, in case you guys don't know, there are certain carbon isotopes that are radioactive. They have a very specific half-life. So if you measure the amount of the isotopes, you can be very, very broadly specific as to how old they are by years. It's better if they're really fucking old, but not too old that the half-life is past. But even for more recent stuff, it's decently dating. The problem is that this measurement requires more days to be more accurate. So if you want to have it helpfully be accurate, it physically takes time for them to actually...
The machine I have in my motorcycle is literally is this really old, or was this guy killed in the last 100 years? That's what it would give us.
Yeah. And so the test that the FBI labs are running right now will
It's
take
just
some number
narrowing
of
the
days before
window.
it's basically like
It'll take a week.
every so much time that passes by, it gets more and more narrowed down. So
It will take a week at the earliest, I assume.
At this point, they've been working on it a week, so it should be several days once they've actually like figured out it was a crime and put him in the machine.
We'll get it by the time we'll still be here by the time we get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this isn't an active crime scene, so it likely isn't even high priority.
That you could see, but the process is probably by now the process has at least already probably begun. So
True.
Yeah, so I guess it's like a warrant will have to be something we try to get after.
you will have to
something else
work on
happens.
that with your law roll.
Because
That
as
will have to
far
be
as
well.
the FBI is concerned, this is not an active crime scene.
No, it's you were told that the experts believe that it's from the later 20th century sometime.
Yeah.
Right.
And since no one
Based
claimed to bought it, and then I'm guessing they checked
Whoa.
identification.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's what the Victims Project is doing. They're carefully imaging everything and trying to run down tooth marks and stuff. But we're having an expositional conversation while
Right.
two agents are speaking to the sheriff. So let's not
Yeah,
get
I
too in
guess
the
it's-
weeds. Yeah, victims would be handling that, but you guys can also take that under your wing.
I guess the point is like, I say like, oh, maybe we'll talk to you another time, Sheriff, if something else comes.
Sure,
up.
no problem. Remember, I'm mostly during the middle of the day. I usually camp out here just to make sure everything's okay and nothing goes wrong. But once it gets too dark, everybody packs up and goes home for the day. So
We'll maybe. I
I'd be
think
in the
I'll-
office or in the early morning before everybody gets out.
I'll probably see you maybe later today to look for your files if that's no problem.
Sure, no problem.
All right, Agent Garza, let's go ask some questions.
All right.
Agreed.
Whomst.
You want to go ask victims first, or you want to go message students, or should we leave that to the professor?
Ask the victims.
I mean, you should also probably talk with the students because I'm not here.
Yeah.
I mean later, but yeah.
Yeah.
How about you talk with the FBI and I'll see what I can get out of the students.
Sure.
Let's split up, gang.
I mean, it's literally just like 10 meters apart.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
more
fairly
than that.
decent
This
slice.
is an Well, I mean,
Well, yeah. There's the grid square is blocked out pretty decently. You search pretty far, and they're peeling it away layer by layer because you don't want to accidentally destroy forensic evidence.
no.
Yeah, I just bet the two different camps are like that far apart.
Well, yeah.
Axe, you gotta
Yeah,
not.
maybe.
You can't declare the distance between things.
There's a couple of first downs between them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
I wasn't being like, I wasn't trying to be exact or something. I worded it badly, I guess.
Yes.
No one is splitting up is basically the point. Which
Well,
I
they
agree
are
with.
physically splitting up, but they're within
Well,
shouting
they-
distance of each other.
They in RPG terms, they're still in the same encounter.
Yes, if a dragon swoops down, they're still here.
If the bones start if the bones start conglomerating
Yes,
into a giant...
when the scenario takes a sudden swerve for the Japanese and Gashido Kuro comes out and challenges you to a duel with your
Like,
samurai sword.
I was more thinking one of the kids was gonna hit something and a bunch of rats were gonna start pouring out everywhere.
Hey, well, we'll see.
Mhm.
You're not there. You don't have to worry about it.
Not
Okay.
not my problem.
We'll start with the FBI. I think they're the top on my list. All right, so you roll up. You see, I mentioned her name before. It is Dr. Amber Vostag, FBI Laboratory. She's wearing a windbreaker. She's got glasses. She's got red hair. Looks like she's tired of this shit, but not like Kara tired.
I'm
Like,
pretty
just
sure
like
me and her would
regular
look at each
stress
other
levels.
and we would just give ourselves an immediate, handshake of camaraderie.
Yeah.
limit of science.
But she kind of sees you roll up. Special agent.
Doctor? So, Handler, I'm probably better at... I think Benowitz is probably better at going through the motions of, like, a computer, because So,
What's your? Just tell me what your tact is and what's your persuade.
my persuade 60.
So what's your line then here?
I'm asking about just, what have you found so far? And I probably, like, give my, like, supposed, like, why I'm here kind of thing. But, like, I feel like
Yeah.
Benowitz is better because I would be...
The cold case
but-
and stuff. Yeah.
Just like, what have you had so far? And, like, anything seemed...
Okay. Go ahead and roll. And yes, roll persuade
Okay.
to see if you can be persuasive about your covers.
That's an 06. I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah, you've passed. You get the vibe because you also have quite a bit of human, don't you?
I have 60. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the vibe that she seems a little frustrated because she feels like there's inter-office dickery going on, right? Because she's from the FBI lab department and the victims project. You're from a different department, so she's like,
hello, we're the inter-office dickery.
yeah. But in her mind, it's like, oh, great. What program manager or supervisor wants a promotion this week? Like who's trying to horn in on my case so they can, be the guys who solve the weird, human rat bone situation. So she's probably a little brisk and standoffish to you, but not like rude or suspicious.
I try to point. I guess after noticing that, I point out I'm more asking about. I'm not looking for specifically this. I'm checking into any connective tissue involving the thing. So maybe lessen the weight on her mind.
You're doing the support thing. All right. So she gets there and she's like, all right. So she describes to you kind of the rough experience. She points at the college kids. They began to excavate some of the bones, and they noticed that based on the wear and tear, they were probably from the 20th century. They also noticed a couple of dentition marks. This looked like a dumping ground or mass grave. Pivoted to law enforcement. The sheriff called in the FBI. The FBI calls Dr. Vostag. She shows up with a van and starts working. And her preliminary forensic report is currently they have found signs of 6 or 7 different remains so far that are in the process of being recovered. They have unearthed 3 complete skeletons. She gestures at a row of table where you see several skeletons. Preliminary forensic analysis guesses the bones are from a mix of genders and ethnicities, and they are likely to come from the latter half of the 20th century, somewhere in the 60s to 90s, she thinks.
60s to 90s.
Yeah. There's no readily available or consistent cause of death from analysis, though they've been trying to run a portable X-ray machine out here, but they might have to wait until they can box these guys up and take them back to an actual forensic lab. There are a couple of bones that have some tool marks, which might have been a blade, and those are being analyzed. Others have damage to the neck or skull bones, which could be pre-mortem that they're working on. Nothing too good. And you don't have... What's your forensics, Benowitz?
It's about... it's 40.
That's fairly average. You would be able to notice the marks, but I presume you don't have a oodle of medicine, do you?
I don't have medicine. I only have the...
You would probably need your doctor, your physician, to take a look at this to get really good info.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. So
your Uber driver is trying to get you to get into his side hustle, which is organic eggs and also cryptocurrency NFTs about organic eggs.
I'm briefly considering setting this car on fire with me in it.
I'll pay you more money. I'll give you a bigger tip if you shut up.
But
hey,
yeah,
that's better than the Uber driver who wants you to be saved by the light.
That takes on a different context in Delta Green.
True. Very true.
Vector.
So, saved by the light.
Come to the embrace of the crawling chaos. I set the car on fire and leap into the highway.
I shoot him in the back of the head and take over the car.
I dump the mag into the front seat and take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel!
Anyway. Nyarlathotep drops in and says, not quite. Shit. But no, so...
that car just rockets into space, then, fuck. We gone.
That is the cover of the Dukes of Alhazaret, yes. Anyway, no, let's, to stay on track a little bit, so she does also mention, yes, we have the dentition. Some of them are human. We're taking molds to try and match to any dental evidence, but, there's no guarantee that we'll find appropriate records.
I know this is one of the worst things. I know this is one of the things you probably don't want to be hearing right now, but how long do you think it would take to get any, substantial progress to report on?
Well, the best progress will probably be if we can narrow down the exact decade. That'll be radiocarbon dating, and that'll be, she, pulls out her smartphone and checks what day it is. Probably still got to wait 3 or 4 days on that to be accurate to the decade.
Okay.
We got a pool going over and under 1980.
When was LSD discovered again? Not yet.
I'll put support in the pool if it's sometime like 1970, like early 1970 or something.
All right, fair enough. So you scribble down a little bit. She does talk about there is also some animal dentition, appears to be consistent with rodentia, common Norway rat probably.
Is it local
So that's
to
what
the
the
state
animal
area?
control guy we talked to said. They're not. I'm actually pretty sure that the common brown rat is not necessarily native to America, but that's the rat that follows people around. So.
Oh yeah, is it common to like the state, or is it like just never been a thing?
I don't know. I'm not local.
All right, fair enough.
I came down from Quantico. We do know that there's supposed to be foxes and coyotes and other scavengers in the area, but there don't appear to be any scavenging marks on the bones. I guess that means that they were buried deep for a few years before erosion just got down to them.
Oh yeah, just to Hendler, just to reiterate, the bones were like how thin under the ground when they found them? Like under a
They
foot?
found it's got to be the classic. They found like an occipital or an eye socket, like just gently reaching up above the dirt.
Yeah,
after all
it
that
was like
heavy
what,
winter
erosion?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
there was
after
a lot of winter
storms.
storms in the area. Big rains, big winds, heavy snowfall.
The dumb thing is, this feels like an intro to like an episode of Bones or some shit.
Probably,
this
yeah.
literally is,
I
yeah.
love the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess
But-
what? The criminal justice major loves police procedurals. Who
I
could
mean,
have
some of them
guessed?
are fun. mean,
But yeah,
I mean,
that's
As
basically
a psych
her.
major, as a psych major, true.
But yeah, that's her initial site. You can be reasonably certain that there's some other testing that can be done, but that's going to be a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of people with forensic scores, some of which may need to be bigger than yours. Let us.
I have other people that barely. Oh yeah, I guess it's just.
See, I told
I
you
guess
you're
I
gonna
think-
need the CDC assistant. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll probably introduce you when you get here, but
Sorry, I
But,
should not be talking. My bad.
no, it's fine. I guess actually I might as well bring up like I have a considering possible things involving the report. I was assigned a consultant from the CDC involving, or I just say like I was assigned a medical consultant involving
Medical
anything.
consultant, yeah, that's probably better.
I was assigned a
she's
medical
like,
consultant, and I think they're on the way. They probably have a text from you or something.
Well, as a doctor of forensic medicine, I will accept second opinions, but we'll see.
It's mostly just for our own, my own team's record keeping.
That means she won't.
Yeah,
It's fine. I
everybody's got
get
record.
cocky too. Don't worry.
All right. Anyway, if you don't have anything further to ask her, I want to roll over
I
to
probably won't ask her. I probably just look around.
Garza. You were talking to college students and also a professor.
Oh no,
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of
college!
take it. I'm gonna take it a little slow, kind of try and build up a rapport with the students. Like, I'm not here like to bust them or anything like that. I'm just
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of observing what they're doing and chatting with them a bit, like kind of getting what they're thinking about the whole thing.
All right. What's your persuade total?
51.
All right. Yeah, you can make small talk at a slow pace fairly easily. So yeah, you get the impression that over the past week or so, a lot of these students have gotten used to people in government windbreakers standing over their shoulder, making sure they're not fucking anything up. You are introduced to Professor Alice Armitage, Miskatonic University Archaeology Department. She probably
yeah.
no, she's wearing gloves and has muddy hands. She'll skip the handshake.
Elbows.
So yeah, basically, a couple of them have been here since the start, so they'll tell you the story of the report. The couple hikers, called in the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office called the archaeology department, and they thought, we've got maybe a Indian burial ground, or one of the kids, laughs at one of the other ones, like, Sally over there thought it was going to be the bones of those, dead redcoats from the old urban legend. It could have been the redcoats, kind of a thing. So, but, they
Yeah,
started.
They would have had to bury them somewhere. So
Yeah. They started to actually like, the layers off, brush, everything like that, get it out there, and started noticing that the wear and tear on the bones and the burial means that they were newer. That's when they were like that. One of them tells you the big shock when they pulled up their first, femur that had a very clear human bite mark in it. He points at one of the tables where there's some skeletal remains. It's that guy's femur right over there. That was a heck of a wake up. So that's when the FBI got involved.
Yeah.
And they've been kind of assisting ever since.
Yeah. Omega, correct me if I'm wrong, but instances of ritualistic cannibalism are actually fairly rare.
Yes,
It's
that's
generally
a
one
definitely
of-
not
it's
here.
generally-
Not in the U.S.
No, but like even in like most cannibalism cases are related to generally a single person's or group or small groups psychoses rather than any kind of
yes.
cultural.
Well, yeah, no,
we
there's
studied
never-
we studied serial killings and stuff, and so yeah, no, ritualized cannibalism is actually very rare. It
Yeah,
was
no.
a common like xenophobic fear of eras past, but the amount of actually cannibalistic like subcultures is very narrow. There are a few out there.
especially
Yeah, I'm about to say
especially
they do exist, but then like none of them are out of Red Zone.
I
think there's, like,
believe
maybe-
it's like usually Southeast Asia. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of tribes in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
and it's also mostly necro cannibalism if I remember correctly.
Necrophagy is more common, yes.
Yeah, like not living people.
And you guys don't know if these guys were dead or alive when they got ed.
I mean, they should be able to tell that.
Well, like I said, we got the reports of there's blade and maybe some skull fracture. So who knows? Maybe they were
True.
killed in it, but we don't know.
True.
Yeah,
It'd be
but
for defensive
anyway,
ones.
so Garza, do you have any other further questions besides just slowly getting to tell you the story of how they stumbled into this freaking cannibal mass grave? Woo!
I have one question that I was kind of been wondering is, with my criminology of 70,
Oh yeah.
usually, like, if you're going to cannibalize someone, you're not using your teeth, are you? Like, is the human mouth even strong enough to put teeth marks into bone?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, humans have.
Yeah, I'm about to say. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
It might damage
No,
the
the
tooth,
human
depending.
the human jaw is it's not our strongest feature, but yes, human bite strength is pretty good. Yeah.
It might
Okay,
damage
I was
the tooth,
actually
though,
not
but
aware of that. Like, so,
Yeah.
like,
Like you
It's
gotta
so kinda
remember,
odd that they're not
bones.
more
Our bones
tool
aren't
marks,
as
though.
like super strong as one would think.
No, humans are
Pacific bones are
actually
strong.
fairly.
true, but
Humans are actually fairly squishy.
I
That's not
believe I've
femur,
always
but-
heard that the best like scientific analog for human bones is balsa wood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay.
And I
Like
broke
our
part of
bones
that
are
as well.
actually like our bones aren't actually that hard. They're more flexible than anything, believe it or not.
It's,
like-
I think it's like some of your leg bones are like stiff as concrete, but that's it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, your leg bones are
getting a femur snapped is hard. But
Yeah,
pretty much
your leg
anything
bones are
else
pretty
is.
tough. That's because humans are ultra specialized at walking, running.
Well, yeah.
Right. I was kind
but
of wondering
yeah.
about that. I actually didn't know that much
No,
about
yes,
the bite
human
force,
bite.
so.
It's not the strongest in the world, but human bite strength is decent enough that they would be able to leave dentition marks on a bone. That does mean that you'd have to be right up in there chowing down. Like
Yes.
this isn't like Hannibal Lecter,
Yeah.
with a steak knife and a nice
No.
glass of Chianti.
No, you're like
They would either have
seeing
major
red.
defensive. They would either have major defensive wounds or have been knocked out.
Okay. Well, I have some
So,
thoughts
yeah.
on that matter, but I'll share them when we all gather together. So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping they were knocked out.
and also while I'm talking to them, I will use my human int of 81% to kind of make sure no one's trying to hide anything.
No, not really hide. They're kids. They're not professionals yet. All of them have their own little like pet theories about what's going on. You probably hear some references to like Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff, like famous like cannibal serial killers. And also with your human, you get the general idea that these kids probably did the equivalent of losing a few points of sand from this. Like some of them are pretty shaken and a little unnerved, but they don't know what else to do besides like try and make sense of this shit. So they're still out here, digging. They probably mentioned, if you were to ask about it, that a couple of the volunteers actually like could not stomach this after the human bite marks came up. They were just like, nah,
Okay. Well,
I'm going to deal
until-
with really old bones killed by arrows.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just stay over there, kind of just conversing with them, building the rapport, kind of like giving them a little bit of insight, but like nothing, not revealing anything, but just like giving my opinion if asked for it and that sort of stuff. Like,
Sure. All right. About this time, Kara and Holland probably roll up in their Uber and are glad to get out of that car. But I want to slap to Professor M. Professor M.
Mormo.
Yeah, Mormo. Because you wanted to do some
Yeah.
records or library research.
I was going to do
some
some.
Professor X.
I was going to do some light research on. More so, I was not going to do the research today, but I wanted to ask if I could possibly use their library, not their super secret underground library. Their normal library.
You say you're in town for something and you do some research.
Yeah.
Yes, that will be available to you.
Okay, and then I will ask about the location of my handler. Or of my liaison, rather.
Oh,
Sorry,
they let you know that Professor Armitage is in fact out at the site on the Lune property.
Okay. And I'm assuming they have a digital library at this point that they can give me access to?
Yes. Some of the university would have access to various records, some in physical form. The Arkham Advertiser has Digitize Archives as a paid subscription, and their print archives are free to the public.
Yeah, I probably have a grandfathered in digital subscription. Like, you're subscriber number 4.
Yeah, access to pay-for-use journals and professional publications is incidental. So, yes.
Yeah. Also, I probably wrote some of the journals.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, Arkham Advertiser is quite. The Arkham Advertiser itself has a history going back to the 1800s.
Yeah. No, I am a professor specializing in folklore, historical cultural relevance, and mythologies, specifically of the Northern Americas.
Yes. So, yeah. So you will have access to those, and then do you want to truck out to the dig site?
I will go to the dig site because
right.
I want to talk with my person because it's common courtesy, and I'm also getting an itch.
All right. You all arrive at roughly the same time, so Omega can stop splitting his brain so many ways. Yay!
I feel like
I'm also going to have on the back burner some of my people coordinate with the Arkham records, looking up what was the French town again?
The region.
The French
Avignon?
evil place.
Yeah.
Avignon. Yeah.
I don't know how I know how. Well, if you're not telling me, I can't say shit. But I don't know how you should be involving all these other fucking people in this investigation, my dude.
While it's just
I look up weird shit all the time though.
Yeah, well, it's just outline level research. It's not a problem. He is a professor with like an 80 at occult.
Yeah.
So
I'm also.
It's when you need to look at specific weird conspiracy things.
Yeah, no. My research team has also been with me for a good 20 years, and they're probably at this point just like, "What are you having me look up now?" Okay.
It's the classic issue of when you're in writing and you look up things.
Note, then I'm just gonna start using my
I do have the power of
CDC team
interns,
just to
yes.
fucking send me drugs.
Well, that might be a question.
There's a different weight to it.
Depends on what kind of drugs.
Again, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Dallas is just like, I have people to do stuff for me, so I'm like, okay, I can do that too then.
I mean, yeah, no. Technically, that is true. You can rely on bonds and other things to get you certain items and other stuff.
I will say,
incidentals are no problem.
A bond, yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally picturing Kara over the phone. Bring me drugs. With Garza's kind of looming over her.
Drugs.
But I just want to have that on the back burner because that place set off all kinds of weird red flags for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to that when we.
Because isn't it called like Place of Shadows or something?
Oh yeah, their old manor house was called Chateau du Umbraville.
They knew what they were doing. But they named it that way.
I'm like, that's either just you're being trolls or it's evil.
All right, but you are all at the dig site at the same time.
Wow. Benowitz probably introduces Kara to
yes.
Dr. Vostog as like, this is my medical consultant. I think you'd like to discuss with you.
Mm-hmm.
I
give him a sign. Like, I got nothing to discuss. Let me see the bodies.
I'm wearing different clothing now. To give a brief preview of what I'm wearing. Hold on, I need to
Dallas is kind
Damn, where is this picture?
Why do you need a picture? Just use words.
Well, I'm just covered in gear.
Oh no.
Okay,
Professor
you are covered
Wildman
in survival gear.
changed clothes on the motorcycle.
Like, no, I'm not wasting time on your description.
Okay.
So
You want to look at corpses.
yes, I have. Let's see here. I have a 70 in forensics and a 80 in medicine. Because I remember you mentioned those earlier.
Yes. Marth is having another problem.
No.
Need to make a
Okay.
physical copy then. Might help a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Where was it? Right. You're gonna look at the bodies.
Yes.
Dr. Vostok seems a little surprised by your shortness, but she's whatever. You're the consultant. Step into my office, and yeah, bones.
Bones.
All right. Any particular angle you're taking here, or you just?
Well, I'm going for a general view, and I'm trying to see if there's anything strange about like noting what they said. I'm assuming we have hive mind as always. So
I probably
some
fill
level,
you
you
in.
know?
I probably fill you
Yeah.
in with like I walk
yeah,
you
but
over
no,
to the-
just any unique, strange marks. Like I already know about the human bite marks and the rodent marks, but you know any other marks or any other like striking features I might find about them.
I mean, if you don't mind sticking around till maybe closing time, you know, because it'll get too dark. You can do your own thorough forensic analysis of this pretty easily. What's your forensics again? What was it?
70, yes.
80?
70.
Yeah. And your medicine is like 80?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can do your CSI montage of looking at the bones.
Equip
And we'll get back
PPE.
to what you find. No, yes, PPE is required. Mormo, what are you going to be doing besides just saying hi to Armitage?
Well, yeah, I'm just making sure the usual pleasantry is off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably go down into the site.
Fair enough.
I mean, assuming they will let me.
Yeah. Hey, no, you're a
Because,
professor.
I mean, I heard there was a mass grave, and I just can't resist.
Sounds about right.
As a thing in the chat, I made it seem to AC like I've never met you before. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Because
Yup.
Garza probably floats over the professor's shoulder since he was hanging out in that corner anyway.
Yeah.
I am less brief than Kara, but very similarly. I'm like, no, I need to see the bones, or I need to see the area where the bones came from to see what I
Alright.
can see.
Yeah, once Mormo's there, Garza will probably kind of slip away and do some surveying of the surrounding area.
Yes, it's
All
like
right.
the two
Maybe-
crazy
maybe
people
get a
want to
look
go
of
into
the,
go into their fields of expertise.
All
Maybe
right.
go look around at the edge of the Umbral House's property.
All right. Yeah, you pace the site back and forth. You can't go too far because the sheriff and the feds are all hanging around. You don't want to cause an incident, but you can get an eyeball. Level R. Let me check. What level binocular? Would you have a normalized like binocular? You. By which I mean, does the game care? Ordinary binoculars, incidental. No.
Yep.
Okay. So. Yeah, you can have if you want to like take a binocs to look at the site a little. We that is.
I'll do that.
Actually, no. That would technically be first because you're doing that while these guys are digging in the dirt. Okay. So, what's your search score? Actually, no. What's your
70.
alertness score for like
My alertness is
visual
60.
check? 60.
Yeah, 60 for alertness.
All right. So you look through binoculars and you eyeball the site. You see way at the top of the tallest hill is the Umbral House. It's surrounded by dead trees and patches of dead and dying grass. Large chunks of the front of the house are choked with ivy, and you can see there were old planters and stuff around there that seem to be growing thick, thorny shrubs from this distance. You can see, some of the windows look like they're permanently blurred or darkened by smoke damage. Others have the shutters clearly cut. Portions of the roof have various gaps or holes worn or collapsed in them. Gutters are choked with dead leaves and debris. Shingles have fallen off in uneven patches. Looks like there was a stone fence or colonnade like around the core of the house that's now like fallen over. You probably with your binos spot a couple of marble statues standing in their front garden. You can also see what looks like a detached carport carriage house, which is next to there that's all shut up. Can't get a great angle to see the priory behind it, because it's located directly behind the house.
Behind the house. Okay.
But you can see some brief, columns or stone walls, and there is a small steeple poking up out of the top of the building somewhere back.
All right. Does the ground around it, like on the grounds, all look kind of pretty flat or anything?
Not necessarily flat. It looks like the top of the hill would have been flattened, to build the foundations for the houses, yeah. But it does kind of, gently slope down to your area. You're in a little bit of a depression between a couple of hills, for instance, where the dig site is.
All right. So nothing major. I was just kind of seeing if there are any outward signs of anything like sagging down into the hill or something.
Or if something still is in the
No,
place.
there's no obvious depressions or sinkholes like a basement falling in.
Okay.
So, dig site, science. So you look at bone. First of all, with your levels of forensic and medicine, Kara, you concur with the rough opinion based on the wear and tear. These are probably from the recent half of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess, you're pretty good. You would probably say 70s or 80s, maybe?
Probably 70s.
I mean, you can come to your own conclusions. The evidence is not locked in.
Yes.
Thoughts? As I said, you notice some of them have marks on the neck or base of the skull. Looks like blunt force trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little hard to tell with the aging, but those are probably pre-mortem.
Probably not.
One of the skeletons that doesn't have any blunt force damage has a lovely little notch in one of the left ribs right over the heart.
Someone got a stabbing?
Yeah. And then you look at it, you're like, that's a tool mark. Yeah. I can't tell you much about this blade, but there was a blade here, long enough to poke the heart, and it clipped a rib. One thing you will notice is rather the absence of things. These bodies are from, like you said, you think, you're going to put your money on 70s if you were going to bet in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
There's no accessories or paraphernalia. There's no, with the bodies anyway, there's no cloth fragments or anything.
Oh, they must have been.
Oh, they're dead.
They've been stripped then, and probably
They're dropped
dumped.
bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Archaeology Man can confirm. What's your archaeology?
60.
Okay. You're not used to looking for fragments of peoples that are dead this recent, but you can be reasonably certain that at least in the current level of the dig that has been uncovered, there are no fiber fragments. So,
Yeah.
And another thing, Kara, you notice looking at a couple of these skulls, both the complete remains they've unearthed and the partial ones, you notice a couple of gaps. Some of the teeth are missing in kind of a non-natural way, possibly post-mortem.
Teeth were pulled? Like post-mortem?
Yeah, mostly molars, the kind of teeth where you'd put caps, crowns, possibly made of shiny metals back in the day. Nowadays, you guys just use, plasters and polymers, but back in the day, gold and silver.
The family did say they were going through money troubles. Would they?
And it's not like they give a shit about
Wait,
life.
is this like something common with with all three skeletons are missing teeth? Or
No.
okay.
But you do not find anybody who does have a pre-existing metal crown or other dental work that's left in. So it's not like there's not a correlation, but you can't be specific.
If I'm going, like, I'm not saying this out loud to anybody at the moment, but if my guess is correct, the Lune family was going through some money issues. Why there might be potentially kidnapping people, killing them, taking off all their stuff, and maybe eating them and feeding them to rats? I don't know.
But that might be the right direction.
I don't know. But
yeah.
I can probably say that, like, if they have been having money, actually, what would they be spending them? Why would they have money problems? Actually, that's another reason. Why are they having money problems?
Is this place ever maintained?
Well, it's hard. It's hard to tell now because of the 50 years of weathering and the fire.
Yeah, but no, this is the thing that's
but
actually.
You guys, that would be something if you guys went to the like public records back in Arkham
That's
or
what I want.
dug up the
That's
FBI.
probably the
records.
next step. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I want to go to the.
Do you remember from the basic briefing to remind everybody that in the 30s when we transitioned to the Bureau of Investigation, the proto FBI was keeping a heavy look at their properties and businesses outside of their house.
Because usually people who do pretty good in the Prohibition, make that old money, and usually do fairly well. Usually, like there's a lot of old money modernly that got their start off by making it bank in Prohibition. Even if they didn't strike it super fucking rich, they should be okay.
Unless they drew
What did
too
they
much
think it all?
attention to themselves.
Yeah, something like that. Again, because they had family members, they could have had people working and paying off things. So why did they not have the money to do stuff? Like, I'm sorry, I know it's a completely errant thought, but it's in my head now.
To ask a question, like, were they having money troubles or were they just looking for money?
You do not know.
No,
We
the
need to
way
probably go to the FBI records for
the
that.
way the documentation and the tapes described it was.
They were asking for money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it
They
doesn't really say why.
discussed, probing letters back and forth relating to mostly occult stuff and just news, but occasionally they would discuss money and things.
Were they just blowing all their fortune
the
on just
the specific
occult
note was the Luna branch contact that Erwin remembers was after the 40s when they apparently had a little bit of an issue with several of their people dying off.
Well, yeah, they did lose a lot of people to World War II, and then I think I need to go hit some pub. Well, actually, I don't know how well I can.
You probably want to do that tomorrow because, like I said, you're taking your time with this. And yeah, there's stuff to confirm. You find, like I said, evidence of violent deaths. It looks like.
Talk about when we drive back. Yeah.
So I want to check missing cases, probably from a while. I want to check basically news articles.
That'll be a big deal. Honestly, probably something the general FBI investigation will hit in due time faster than you will looking on your own, just because they have people who are paid to do that.
Yeah.
I think after we drive off, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Benowitz gotta take a visit.
But
to Sheriff Bob's
you're not driving off yet, so we'll get there later.
Later, yeah.
The other thing is, you do, because you have a very good forensics and medicine, you do think that some of these bones might be from separate time periods. Not like decades and decades apart, but like one set of these remains could be like 5 years apart from another set. So it may not have been an all-at-once like mass grave situation. It may be just more of like a general dumping ground situation.
Oh yeah, they're like their favorite feeding spot.
And yes, on that note, that's human dentition. That's not great. That's a human man bone marks in that tibia and fibula.
Is there anything? It's human indentation, but is there anything unique about the human bites? Like, are they shaped weirdly, or
No, they look like. I mean, you look at one of the skulls, you look at the guy. Obviously, they're not the exact same dentation marks. Like I said, no auto cannibalism,
What's
but you're
up?
like, yeah, no, that's human.
Okay.
I mean, it could
Probably.
Is it,
actually.
are the bite marks looking like they were gnawing on the bone, or like just like one single bite?
There's probably some gnaw and scrape marks. There are some like clean bite indentations where a bite got deep.
Okay.
There's a mix and match. There's also those, like I said, rodent-like marks. Usually around the rodent-like marks are usually around the extremities, hand and finger bones, wrists, ankles, toes, shins.
I've had an absurd theory, but I think I'll keep quiet about it.
And archaeology, man. You spend a little time in the mud, and the initial impressions of the. Well, actually, what's your forensic score?
My forensic score, I believe it's also a 50. Yeah, I have a 50 in forensics.
Yes, you're able to tell from like actually getting in there and like probing at them with brush and chisel, and everything. Similar things to Kara, with the violent death signs. I mean, you've dug up bodies killed in war before or other things.
Yeah, this
So,
isn't
yeah.
my first mass grave.
Yeah, there's short sharp blows to the neck or head, knife indentations.
I'm mostly looking for any kind of
Knife marks,
cultural
vertebra, sternum,
significant
ribs.
markers.
At this level of the dig currently, there do not appear to be any.
Oh, okay, interesting.
There are, as I reported earlier, there are no fiber fragments. They're not wearing any jewelry. Or
That's
any
weird.
jewelry is not preserved in the mud with them.
That's very weird.
Like as I said, they were stripped. Were they
Yeah, but
stripped and ate
what-
and then dumped?
Like stripped, like usually stripping for value. Like I wouldn't expect any valuables or anything, but
Like,
no
no clothing at all.
clothes is weird.
I mean,
Yep.
not when you think about like someone was gonna eat them. Are you gonna eat them through clothes?
I guess.
It's like you trying to eat a chicken with the feathers on it.
Yeah.
How
I'm gonna
hungry
look
you
for
gotta
any-
be to eat that chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look for any kind of cultural markers at all.
Go ahead and roll me an archaeology roll.
Okay.
See if you find a little.
25.
All right. All right. Yeah. There's you're working. You're checking at everything. There's no signs of clothes, other identifying markers, and jewelry. You like several skulls appear to be missing their fillings, but you do you help a student kind of like pull up a section of rib or something that's like been partially squished by a rock. And under the bones, you do find a single silver coin or medallion.
Oh,
Okay, I'm immediately going to put that in a sieve.
Yeah.
Take all precaution.
So
And
you
going to begin
scope it out,
investigating that.
clean it out. It bears a symbol on one side of what looks like maybe a canid with antlers, like a
Okay.
wolf or something with horns or antlers. And the other side looks like a almost skeletal or at least very thin like hand, like you can see the clear 4 digits and thumb.
I
And
will-
your history is quite good, right?
Yes, my history is 70.
You think this artistic style matches, you would say, medieval French, maybe North Italian silver?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
These symbols
I might be
do
right.
not match anything off the top of your head in the
Gotcha.
historical or occult record. This seems very personalized or idiosyncratic.
No, I'm going to take photos with a phone, and then I'm going to have the student call it out.
Yeah.
Like call it like, hey, we found something, and let the student take credit for it because I
right.
do not want to be noticed.
All right, so it's starting to get a little dark. They're turning on the big work lights. you possibly hear, the distant breeze of maybe a cold, late winter fog rolling up out over the sea, forming into clouds coming over. Sun goes down, starting to get a little cold. You can maybe see your breath in front of your face. Might be time to pack up from the dig for the day. Any further dig-related questions?
No, I think I got I got all the leads I want.
This is going to sound weird. Have there been any incidents in the dig?
Incidents in the what now?
On the dig. Has everything gone smoothly? Okay.
Yeah, they haven't
I
had
always
any
got to make
unusual-
sure.
I mean, like I said, a couple of the students, I mentioned this earlier to Garza, a couple of the students seem a little spooked,
Well,
This is their first mass grave, and it's also a cannibal mass grave, so, they're a little weird. Some of them might say, one student probably says, no, I swear, man, I was out here after dark, and there was a full moon. There was definitely a ghost on the hill, and the others were like, no, there was not a ghost on the hill. It was, Jimmy went up the hill to go piss in the grass, and he was still wearing his white clean suit. He was not a ghost.
I'm just making sure because
no
injuries,
nobody's had any sudden injuries or falls. Nobody's gotten sick of mysterious diseases like it's an Egyptian tomb.
No dogs. Wait, are there dogs fighting? Are there dogs fighting near the archaeology site? That's important.
No.
Okay.
They've not had any problems with scavengers, actually. They've been very careful about it, but they haven't had any reports of coyotes or foxes trying to steal them bones.
Have anyone had any reports of rats?
Oh boy.
They haven't really seen any rats, but they haven't been keeping an eye out.
We have to keep track of that
rats?
because that was in the tape. So keep track of that.
Also, I wanna point out. Sorry to derail, but Axe, there is a flaw with your theory. There are no bullet wounds in these skeletons.
People got shot.
Oh no!
I guess all
my
of them I was thinking
my personal theory.
You gotta remember, Agent Irwin shot everyone he could.
Fair
He
enough.
set the house on fire and shot everybody who came out.
I have a theory of why these things are stripped of everything.
I'm just wondering if that coin might be their sigil, but I don't know.
Rats like shiny things.
But that sounds like stuff you guys are going to investigate at a later date. So you guys going to pack up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pack up.
I'll obviously check in with God, don't joke,
Loss. That might actually be happening.
Yeah, no, I'm there's a 50-50 chance that's just real. But no, I'll check in with Alice to make sure, what date should I do my talk with the archaeology department.
Yeah, you can book that far enough in advance that it's not gonna interfere with your current business. Maybe a week or two from now.
And honestly, I genuinely do enjoy not being completely isolated from humanity.
Yeah.
It's nice sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'll get sick of people again eventually.
Maybe after
it goes in cycles.
Hey, I mean, there's a reason why there's a personal pursuit home action, which is called Back to Nature.
That is literally probably...
Yeah, you can roll to get sand back by just being like, no, I'm going to be away from people.
Return to monk. Oh, don't worry, Loth. I already broke my streak.
I think I did too. God damn it.
I didn't. I checked earlier.
I was playing the game early.
I did it
anyway, yeah,
we're
focused. You guys are gonna roll on back in to your hotel and reconsider all your things. So what's your plan for tomorrow and or theories you want to spitball?
I mean, tonight I totally said I'd probably go see the sheriff anyway tonight, actually. So.
Oh, you want to get to him because obviously the days are still a little short. You want to get to him before office hours close, but
yeah.
I can't go with you because I'm fucking stuck.
No, that's fine. I told him I would be there to look for the files. Maybe Garza could show up if he wants to, but I'll mostly be going myself.
I will hive on with you and tell you what I want you to find, though.
I can do that. Give me a list of things.
Basically, missing person cases, any incidences with the Lune family, and maybe any strange occurrences around the estate and the priory.
In the morning, I will probably go to the FBI office to go through records for that stuff. But
hey, Omega, I'm gonna do something really weird. I'm gonna do something really weird in my hotel room.
What?
I'm gonna start setting rat traps all over my hotel room.
Sure. You have anxiety. That's perfectly there. Yeah.
Look, it's called I'm cool and calm and collected in this situation. It's called compartmentalization.
You can't sleep soundly unless you add a couple rat traps. Yes, that's fine.
All right, but
The
are we
rats are
actually
gonna
gonna
get lost.
talk about some theories and stuff, or are we gonna?
Oh
call
yes, actually, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so does anyone want to take a lean, or are you guys just gonna listen to me talk for a fucking while?
I
So,
mean,
we can't
I
assume
think my personal theories are probably pretty close to yours.
Mhm.
So
I
So,
originally thought like when the professor brought up the coin, I for a moment thought like maybe it's a thing of the family. Oh wait, but no, can't be.
well,
but-
like I said, that's old silver, so that's probably some sort of family heirloom moniker medallion. Like
It might have at least belonged to the family.
it probably belonged to the family. It might be something from their time in France. But like we said here, we have a variety of bodies, not all from the same time period. Like this is probably one of the reasons why everyone's so stretched out about what it is. But we can definitely point fingers at it being cannibalism, and might be, what's the word I want to use?
Ritualistic.
Almost. They were definitely, I want to say, prepared.
Do you want to use the R word?
I don't really want to use the R word.
I don't think it was necessarily a ritual.
Listen, I know some
Well,
capital R's, all right?
It wasn't a ritual in the terms of a like magic, beating drums, making chants, but it was definitely ritually prepared, if that makes sense.
It's as ritually prepared as setting up a roast, I want to say.
Yeah.
Do you think it's, for what you've thought about, do you think it's possibly used to be like an old rat hole?
Rat hole?
I think they're...
what do you mean a rat hole?
As in
No, rat.
where it's like
The
it's
name of
just
the
a ditch
scenario.
full of like a ditch full of rats.
A
And,
rat's
there's bodies
nest?
Maybe not.
Hold on.
Okay, what's the difference between a rat's nest and a rat's hole?
One where you feed it, and one is where they breed.
I still don't know the
those
difference.
are the same thing. Okay. Regardless,
What's your survival, Benowitz?
Base.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
He doesn't understand how rats work.
As the person with I think an 80 survival, I'm like, yeah, no.
I mean,
I think that's accurate.
But I don't honestly, I don't understand the rat angle. I really don't. It's so strange.
other than-
spooky cannibal family, while weird, is understandable. She says this word.
You can rent that movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's only two real points that the rats come up. It's when there's bite marks on the bodies, on the bones, and then Irwin's mention of a huge mass of rats descending on the house.
Well, that's the
I have
thing.
a theory.
Usually, I'm sorry, it's basic animal behavior. Rats don't run towards fire or explosions. They run away.
Actually,
Yeah.
Professor, Doctor, were the rat bite marks around the same were they different age period from the human marks?
I had to actually, consult my memory, but
They would have been roughly contiguous. You wouldn't. You
Yeah,
could not go to be I mean, they could have been weeks or months apart, but no, not
it's
years later.
No, it's
They did not look like, that is another weird thing. They did not look like scavenger marks. And again, you have been consistently told that nobody is scavenging these bones, which is a little weird, but
I'm gonna chalk that up to Spooky Hill, place of hungry ghosts and stuff who steal your food.
Does the professor bring up what he learned about oral traditions involving the area?
yeah, that's what
Probably
he's talking about, the
yeah.
hive mind.
Okay.
No, I have a while ago.
Yeah,
That was probably before we split up.
yeah. So right now,
I do have a theory.
now, I think our biggest priority is we need to figure out what the Lunes was doing. I think that's going to be our biggest interest because.
I have a.
Say your theory. Sorry.
No, my theory on the rats. Because I've been thinking.
Oh no.
And the two connections I have so far are these family are obviously descended in medieval French.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the button is. Would you say, Omega, to be fair, would this be consistent with 13th century fashion? Or sorry, 14th. I forgot how centuries work.
It actually, you
Or
think
could
maybe
it
looks
be
a
from
little.
that area?
It could. You think it might be a little older?
But regardless, the one thing that, and this is the first thought that pops into my brain, it doesn't mean it's related. The most significant thing about rats, especially in medieval France, is famously they carry the Black Death. So I don't know, and the fact that there are relatively low insect levels at the gravesite, or wasn't even no insects?
I mean, something. You're pretty sure the bones decompose, like the flesh decompose normally. You're not really running into a lot of signs of like you know.
Yeah.
We're
They're
not
being
running into
maybe
a lot of
normal amount.
signs of weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Things
Well,
seem pretty
it's-
normal.
the-
It's just that these bones have rat marks on them.
Yeah, which is, especially for the area of Massachusetts, it's not normal.
Like, again,
we're not in. This isn't a corpse of a homeless man in New York City.
Like, I'm so like
This
this is what I
is-
keep trying to say, guys. Like, the rats, while definitely something strange, is not something I think we have enough information to actually start making.
Also,
I agree.
yeah, someone who has better legal connection than I am and are better at dealing with people, we should look into what's his name, Charles de Luna. I do not trust that.
I
We
mean, I
should
was
look
thinking
into
about.
I mean,
Barbara
again, like
also.
this is what I'm trying to get through, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But what we need to know is we need to figure out what the Lune family has been up to. So we
True.
need to hit the public records, check this. We need to check their prohibition age and like their selling and alcohol and stuff. Because apparently their family members tried to join the OSS back in the day but got denied. Remember, they sent their boys to get occult artifacts back in their old homeland of France. And for some odd reason, they were asking for money for some odd reason, despite being a prohibition family, which usually do pretty fucking well. I mean,
Well,
look at the
I have-
land. It's
I have
not...
an I have an idea why they might have, not been allowed into the military. It's the fact that when the Prohibition agents went sniffing around them, they disappeared.
Yeah, that's very suspect too.
So they could have just been on the watch list since then.
Well, again, that means we got to try and figure out what happened to those agents.
Yeah.
We got
to solve 100-year-old cold case.
Yeah,
800, at least 80 years, yeah. At least 80 years.
I mean, prohibition is.
Oh yeah,
200.
yeah. We have to
100
solve.
years.
Yeah, we have to solve
Yeah,
like the
like
1920s
100 years.
adventure.
like I
Almost
know,
exactly 100 years.
like I said, because we might be stretching ourselves out a little bit here, but all these facts are pointing to that the Lune, excuse me, family is up to something weird, and whatever that something weird was is probably what's related to the case now. So that's what we need to figure out.
I mean, my specialty is in the old. So if you don't mind me doing this, I think tomorrow I'm going to go back up to
Miskatonic,
Miskatonic.
Yeah,
Miss.
the university and look up some things about their homeland because
That would
something
be-
about that place does not sit right with me.
If you could, basically check, see if you can check native oral tradition, see if they have any records of there, because we got something strange there, and check each of the basic major wars except World War I, basically Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War II, and see if there's any stories around there. Prohibition age was around the same time of World War II, so that shouldn't be too far off. But if you can do that, like I said, I can't look my way through a history textbooks without falling asleep. I'm sorry, that's not my jam.
No, I understand. It's something about this is there's too many different things in the same place, which is
There's
not
too much
normal.
layers of history happening right
Yeah.
here.
Well,
You got to find the through line.
Yes. And, Carl will turn to the agents. You two basically need to take this from the law side. Find out, what case, any missing person cases that have been happening in the past.
By the way, this is all probably on your car ride back or in the hotel room. This is before.
Oh yeah, because I need to get going, and
Yeah.
I told the sheriff
Yeah.
I'd be looking at
Yeah,
his records tonight,
but,
so I had to go do that.
But
Well-
we need missing person cases. We need to figure out anything they have on the prohibition cases, the prohibition agent, and basically any crimes that they may have been accused of during this time.
Well, I believe Benowitz has a FBI office here in Kingsport that he can go check out.
I'm probably
I
gonna do that
was
in the
thinking
morning.
of going actually meeting with Barbara Luna and see what information I might be able to get out of her about the family and Umbral House.
Also, see if you can get any details on this civil suit she might be having, because this seems very out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Indeed, it does.
I might need to get into an
Yeah.
argument with a lawyer, and I'm not happy.
Well,
It's
let's hold off on the lawyer for right now.
It's also very coincidental that the moment
Well, we also need...
how long ago was this?
The civil
months.
suit started about 6 months ago.
Yeah, so right around this time that the civil suit happened, a grave was unearthed.
I mean, the grave
I
wasn't
don't
on there
believe
6
in
months ago. It was
coincidence.
unearthed like 6 days ago.
Well, no, but okay. Sorry, I'm old. I'm a historian. My term of relatively soon may be a bit different than yours. I just mean this property was inactive for the last 60 years, relatively, other than being a spooky local ghost story. And suddenly a bunch of activity has happened at once. That's not normal.
All right. Me and the seal, though, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure what we can do at this moment. I guess we can go accompany a couple of you guys for anything, but I think this next leg of the journey is going to be your guys' wheelhouse rather than ours.
You want to go join the professor looking through university records?
That is probably a bad idea for anyone to come with me. I'm not trying to be mean, but let's just say Miskatonic University are assholes a lot of the time. And I only have an in with them because I'm a professor. And I make books. And they like books.
A bit too much.
You don't know the half of this.
Actually, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there like a public records at like a newspaper place or something?
Yes, the Archaeology.
Yeah, no. Me and Marth can go there, and we probably won't be as good as anybody else, but we can start digging through the public records there at least.
Sometimes all it takes is luck.
Yeah,
Right,
the right place.
Or time.
So this is basically going to do. The professor's going to take the occult/historical angle. The agents will take the legal angle. FBI will take the law angle. DEA will, go do some interviews. The SEAL and the doctor will go hit up the newspaper and see if we can find any find any articles or newspaper clippings about weird shit.
And break. Go team.
Go team.
All right, let's go.
All right, sheriff.
All right.
Okay, you go to the Miskatonic County Sheriff's Office. He'll let you on in, you know.
Told I'd be here. I told I'd be coming, so yeah.
Yeah, he's like, so you did come. All right. Don't get a lot of use out of the old boneyard, but, got any kind of stuff you want? I had some of my assistants try and correlate some of the boxes. Should be in this area.
Something came up, so I also
at,
want to look into
federal.
possible Do you have like a section for missing person cases?
Yeah, we got a few missing person cases when that rollover. Though a lot of that's your guys' point of purview.
Fair enough. Just I have to check my office.
I gotta
I'll check in my office I can't check my office till tomorrow, so.
Yeah. That's some government hours, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be here if you need questions. Have at it. Okay. So, defaultifying. What's your law?
41.
And what's your bureaucracy?
40.
Okay. You might be here a couple extra hours into the night than you planned.
Yeah, I wasn't planning to go to the other place till the morning anyway.
Let's see. How long have we been going? We've only been going for 3 hours, but if Marth's going to clock out, we might actually call it once these guys get back and we finish our the sheriff thing.
I would think we do like...
Yeah, Marth's saying that he might need to pop out, so we'll handle, I think, the sheriff's evidence and call it at 3 hours, I think, for tonight. We've had a very dense session, even though it hasn't been super long.
Yeah. I was thinking if we just do the rest of the information runs and then we call it, but it's up to you.
Those are... some of those things you want to investigate are major lines of investigation. So.
Right, they will take a while. Fair enough.
Yeah, the sheriff's thing I can run through in not too long. So, like I said, it'll probably take you a couple extra hours than you were planning on, but you can actually dig through these records. You know, you find some references to stuff about, you know, the county courthouse. We'll have more about their history and property. Thank you, Loth.
Well, the problem
So
is that's the same thing though.
Font light is like crazy white, fucking unnatural. That is.
A natural sign paint.
You know, all the other various legal records. You do note there have been a handful of criminal and civil complaints over the centuries about the reclusive family. They are,
Centuries.
yeah, they've been here since the colonial era, buddy. They were here since before Massachusetts was
Okay, so
Massachusetts.
like it's been that many complaints. Damn.
Yeah, no. They seem to be in general, like I said, they are recluses, and they are not happy about searches or questioning, and they often, until it closed, use the protection of the priory. Hey, we have a Catholic, we have a Catholic priory on our property. You can't fuck with us.
Oh god, they build it just so people leave them the fuck alone. Oh my god.
Awesome. You don't know. That would be digging into different records. That's something Dallas will probably be looking at later.
Yeah, but like.
Also, what's your accounting?
Base.
Okay.
Sadly. I will probably find.
You do not have the ability to dig into tax records, right?
I will probably find some bits to reference. Probably find some leads to bring up to others so they can figure that out.
So if you wanna correlate their various taxing and business records and stuff, somebody will need some accounting and things to get into.
I might need to take pictures. I might need to take pictures of supposed things that might mean something, but another time.
And you don't have access to those kind of records. So next bit, so you find these were mostly passed off to the Bureau of Prohibition, but you do find a couple of notes and complaints during the Prohibition era. You know, alleged reports by sheriff's officers of cars of a bootlegging persuasion, you know, driving up to the manor at all hours of the night. You know, stuff like that. But you do check out, by the way, these are all pre-digital, so these are all paper reports because they're a county sheriff's office. But you do find a report of the fire. People saw the smoke and the fire on the horizon and investigated after it burned out. They went up to the flames. The fire didn't really spread beyond the manor itself. Some efforts were made to contain the blaze by volunteers who showed up afterward, though they would have gotten there. You know, volunteer fire department and stuff would have been fairly wise. And it seriously damaged parts of the house. No mentions of any weird rat swarms there.
I was about to ask a question. Were there any reports of how many dead were found?
So after the fire, they searched the location. They did find several possible human remains in there. The Luna tapes you guys have all, well, not all of you, but most of you have listened, reported that there were supposed to be less than a dozen members of the family left. The coroner doesn't report that many corpses, but he does note they seem to have been exceptionally aged, and it was of his opinion they were so old they couldn't have died in the fire. So yeah,
I mean,
there was no homicide in the fire. It was just they must have been dead already.
I guess they found no. I guess all the bullets melted away, but I don't think how that tracks. I think I have enough like forensics and criminology to know that's how that works.
At that point, Luna was using a high-powered rifle at not that far range.
Right, they were
so
going
they probably went
popping holes.
through. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, also, those might not have been. Some people keep their dead in their homes, so those might not have been the living members.
There is some notes in the zoning that there's supposed to be a cemetery plot on the property.
Oh no!
If you had to guess, that has to be like behind the house somewhere. Garza didn't see it very clearly, but again,
no,
50, 60 years of no maintenance.
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around the fucking priory.
If we go,
my conclusion is priest, rat, vampire, Wendigos.
That's not how Wendigos work!
Actually, you don't know it. They're spirits of hunger. That is kind of how Wendigos work.
The spirits of hunger is how Wendigos work. That is exactly what they are. That's the problem.
But that is the joke.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
But you noticed that there were notes of the base. There was supposed to be an extensive basement or cellar, but it was partially collapsed by fire, like in the kitchen area, so nobody wanted to investigate.
Well, the other thing is we're also too far south for Wendigos.
It's not
Or
quite that
traditional
cold. You're not in the Arctic Circle.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah.
the last thing about the sheriff's report I want to note really quick before you answer the other thing is at the time the sheriff, because remember the ward's in his like mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
The sheriff's idea at the time was that it was insurance fraud. But out of respect for Irwin's veteran status and the fact that nobody liked the Lune property, he didn't
That
really
tracks.
press the investigation too hard. Typical small town corruption. So, what were you going to say then, X?
I am worried that we might need to break into the property and do some grave digging and check some theories, but that might be a separate thing.
That you'll do later because we're
that's-
not getting into that tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Sounds
about to
like
say
what
it's like
we've done.
again, we got to get through all
I'm not
done.
saying now, but I'm saying that.
What is your search score, Benowitz?
60?
Okay. I'm going to give you a bonus fact. Do you have good search? And I said search or history because I may have been writing these notes after I realized that some of you were not good at history.
I only have 11 histories.
Yeah, so search is fine. While you're digging through the old, banker boxes full of reports and trying to check stuff, you find a incidence of complaints in the 70s after the fire reported to the sheriff's department and animal control department about a spike in rodents and other vermin in the surrounding areas. Instances of ruined crops in nearby farms, some livestock attacks. Rats bit my cow. And even some people who were trying to run them off suffered from bites. Some reported an unusual fever. There are jokes about bubonic plague in the reports, but they're unsubstantiated. However, whenever animal control or private pest control would show up, they didn't really find any signs.
Demon rats.
The spike lasts about the rest of the decade, and then after about 10 years, it seems to fade away. You don't happen to have science astronomy, do you?
God damn it!
No, but I would probably mark this down for someone else.
I would like you to make me an int × 5 roll really quick. Roll your int roll.
I can do that. I'll probably be okay.
I think I should just take
See if you
astronomy
have an
just for
idea.
the.
45. I'm okay.
You get a weird idea. You get a little tickle in your brain, and you decide to double check. You notice that the surges in the reports when the largest outbreaks and things occur are linked to the phases of the moon. The most severe attacks seem to occur during new moon, and nothing happens at full moon.
Wait, wasn't it a full moon?
I checked my phone. What is the moon cycle right now?
What's the funnier one? Let's go with waxing gibbous.
Okay, so that's closer.
Moving
to
towards
the
full.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're okay.
We got time. But this is going to be in my notebook of moon cycle rats.
Reverse were rats. They only come out at new moon.
I mean,
Well,
hey,
where
guys,
else might
The
not be-
Lunes.
guys,
Where-
Shadow House.
Yes,
Where-
only in the shadow of the moon.
Yeah. Oh god damn it! Oh
I
my god, I hate you.
I
What
did
was
a
the
lot of
house
stuff.
What the house in France called again?
Chateau de Umberville.
Oh boy.
Oh, there's all kinds of things.
Their
I did a,
powers-
guys,
their
the reason why this has taken so long and so many pages, I have done so much research into mythos shit and linking up things and other things to new things and making things up.
You've made your own You made your own conspiracy and counter conspiracies at the same time.
Oh, like I said, you guys are seeing a lot of different things and you're looking for the through line, and it's there. There's a through line.
I think
You've
it's
yet to
like,
grasp
yeah.
it.
So we have a weird thing of this is the most unnatural bullshit ever, but a family that has the power over rats in the shadow of the moon, but not the
Wait.
light of the moon.
Wait. I just had a thought.
What's up?
Okay. So what if the reason that they didn't take the coin is that it's made of silver?
And the family used to be silversmiths.
Yeah, no, that's not a through line, my dude.
I've connected the dots. You haven't connected shit. I've connected them.
I've solved the case. No. It's like you're playing Ace Attorney and you give the wrong evidence to the judge. He's like,
But sometimes with those games, you give the evidence that makes sense, but you have to wait till three questions
well,
later.
yeah, that's all. If we do actually do like a great Ace Attorney Chronicles thing, that's gonna have to be something we talk about. Is like sometimes you'll solve the case before the game gets out there. But I think with that revelation of the moon cycle and the plague of vermin that occurred after a while running rampant, that's probably where we're gonna wrap up because Marth had to step away. So you guys roll back up to your hotel room and are left with that lovely thought, and we'll tune back in the morning as you guys break again to go do more research.
I'm gonna go put in my notes. Fucking moon reverse moon shadow rats.
I personally like reverse were rats.
But I mean rats of the reverse the rats in the shadow of the moon.
Wait, Lewis Carroll was warning us. He knew about the moon rats.
Okay. But if there's any overall questions, comments, or concerns, let me know.
No, like I said, I think my concern here is there's a lot of information. I'm having trouble, I'm writing down a lot of
sorry if it's a little dense, but you guys did kind of do something the writing was not necessarily prepared for, which is you guys immediately, star patterned in Scooby-Dooed. I figured that would happen, but...
Well, when you say let's Scooby-Doo that shit, the first thing is, let's split up, gang.
Well, yeah, no, that was the idea, was that if you guys, didn't want to spend all your time at the dig, you could split up. But the fact that you, immediately split up before you even all went to the dig was a little something I was wasn't quite prepared for that. So,
okay,
sorry, you guys started pulling on multiple threads at once, and I wanted to make sure you got your info.
Lucky, the real question is, are you Velma or am I Velma? Who's Velma?
I think I'm Fred.
I mean, here's the real question. Which one of you is Danger-Prone Daphne?
I'm Danger-Prone Daphne because I'm the person who stood in front of a fucking shadow hunter and be like, come at me, bro.
Is Marth Scooby? Actually, I don't know if that's mean or not.
Marth might be Shaggy.
I don't know.
You're clearly Fred, Axe.
Yeah.
You're clearly Fred.
I mean, I don't know if he sets enough traps to be Fred, but...
I mean, I will set traps eventually.
I don't know, he kind of set a trap when he was trying to set traps when he was fighting the Shadow Hunter.
I just more meant personality-wise. And yes, that is both a compliment and an insult. You're welcome.
That is fair.
There was periodic rodent attacks.
Darin is Cheech and Chong. Or Kiss. Or the Harlem Globetrotters.
I was going to go with Abbott and Costello.
Abbott Costello, yeah. There are a lot of guest stars on Scooby-Doo. You could make those.
I will say the bit of I love...
competence-wise, I think that Darin counts as the entire Harlem Globetrotters.
Honestly, I like the bit that we're on the we're always on the edge of an idea, and it's maybe it's this. Oh wait, fuck, it is this. God damn it!
I am old jaded Velma.
Batman. I remember that episode.
Batman hanging out with Kiss. I mean, and they kept the jokes. John Cena was in Scooby-Doo.
Dude, the Scooby-Doo is one of the few series that every time they reboot it, there's at least something to like about the reboot.
They always try something interesting.
I think it's hard because it's hard to fuck up Scooby-Doo.
I mean, they did fuck up Scooby-Doo so hard that fucking Ultra Instinct Shaggy is now a thing in games.
Except for that one dog.
It's just silly.
Was it a mistake, or was it a genius? Or was it both?
I'm about to say, it's both.
Nah, just memes.
But alright, so I think we're wrapping up for now. Yeah, you guys are all, I assume, after Benowitz comes back with pictures of sheriff's departments looking a little spookle that is guys, the rats, though.
Okay, so, here's the image this.
Okay, now, if you go into Mormo's hotel room, you will see it covered with rat traps.
Okay, so before that, how it images is everyone's at the table, and I slap, Benowitz slaps a file of pictures on the table. It's fucking moon rats. God damn it.
God damn it, Benowitz! Stop about the rats.
No, look, I have receipts. Rat reports. He just holds up an animal control file. It's about rats.
Also, listen.
I'm sorry, rural Massachusetts. I know you don't sound like that, but I live in the South. I can't make any other sound.
But we were talking about not focusing on the rats as much, and then Benowitz leaves and comes back. He's like, "It was the rats."
It's no, wait, listen. It's literally, it's fucking moon rats. Shadow of the moon.
Rats.
The Lune. I hate that it's obvious.
And well, then it's just one of those
at the same
things
time.
that I go, so, and what does that mean then?
I don't know.
No, I want.
But it's a it's a thing. Okay, I'm correlating my contents.
I've connected the dots. Where did the dots lead? Fucked if I know.
I don't know where the dots start,
The
but there's
dots form
here.
an unending spiral.
A
It's just
spiral.
more dots all the way
Dots
down.
form a line to the moon.
Beautiful, beautiful spiral.
Garza, I know you're
God, I
joking,
can't
but
wait. I
there
can't
might
wait for that
actually be a
event.
thing.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to say nothing about this, and you can tell it's probably not involved because I only just figured this out today. But when I was writing down on the cheat sheet the special training, I did notice that for some reason Delta Green makes sure to note down what the special training for operate spacesuit is, okay? I believe it's
boy.
int, by the way.
Wow.
I know there's a Darkest Hillside of Thicket where they are just some dude just screaming and singing in space.
Yeah, 20 minutes of oxygen.
Yeah.
About having 20 minutes of oxygen.
Also playing musical instruments. For some reason. I don't know. The humming.
Yeah, spacesuits / EVA is int. You guys are curious
But
what your
like-
spacesuit role is.
But like, it's just that was enough announced to be like, okay, so like, it might not be a thing, but it might also totally be a thing.
Yeah, you have enough. You're what, like 3 now?
Yes.
Yeah, you started to get enough unnatural that you probably can't roll to figure out what it is, but you definitely are like, no, like there's layers here. Okay, this could be a thing.
I mean,
I
I have the
should give
highest
a
unnatural, but like, yes, it's a thing, but it's a thing that doesn't matter right now.
Well, also, Lucky, to
Do
give
you wish
a
to
little
roll your unnatural?
The what?
Kara,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Omega said there.
I said, do you wish to roll your unnatural?
I mean, I could, but it's only, well, let me see here. Sure. Why the fuck not? He yells moon rats. I will listen to She Who Talks and see if she will tell me what these fucking moon rats are. Let me see here.
He yells moon rats and Garza kind of face palms.
I mean, Garza has a point of a natural now.
No, I rolled a 16, so barely, no. I got nothing.
Ah. Damn.
Yeah, you don't know. You literally don't know.
Nope.
Do you mark it?
No,
could I
No, you
roll
cannot
a,
mark unnatural.
You cannot mark a natural.
Can I roll a
moons-
cult?
Moon rats, like you just realized to yourself, wait, shit, I don't know anything about space. What if space is fucked? Shit.
Could I roll a cult on French moon rats?
No, you would know with
Okay.
your high level of occult that is not corresponding to anything
Okay.
with anything.
You do have
I
you do
go-
have like a point in a natural too.
I mean, you've got over 10 in the
Sure,
natural.
I'll
You could
roll
roll
a
that to see if
natural.
you get something.
French moon rats, what are they? Where
Did
are
I
my
fail
percentile
anything?
dice?
Well, I didn't roll much today, actually.
I didn't roll
at
much
all?
either. I didn't mark anything much either.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it?
Rolled once.
What's
What?
I got a 77.
Critical failure.
Eh.
On your unnatural roll. Yeah, no, it's French moon rats.
All right.
The rats colonized the moon before humans, obviously.
Wait,
Proto-human rats,
wait,
technically. Rats of
wait,
unusual
wait.
size.
The first film, one of the first films, was made by a French guy and was about the moon. Were there rats in it? I must know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, even for me, that's
You
a
go
big
down
contributor.
like you clearly get a wire across and wait, and then you're like, wait, no, that was a movie I watched once, or was it?
Okay, you should know that one of my character's background packages is conspiracy theorist.
But okay, I think we're ready to wind down. Southeast Asian.
Wait, fuck.
It's coming together.
Now you did that, but it doesn't match the dentition you found.
I know, but still, I was
I
like,
don't know what that means.
what?
Not
What
the
happens if I
right
type
penis.
in moon rat in here?
Not
It's
the
just
right
like-
penis.
True.
I just image the
Still-
scene is like
still
you look it up. It's like you look it up. It's like, oh wait, fuck. Oh wait, never mind. We're okay. What the fuck?
Actually, yeah, no, I love that he did. Like, Kara rolls her unnatural about moon rats, and she's like, "There's not fucking moon rats." Google it. Shit, there is moon rats, but also no, they're not. That's not it. It's not moon rats. Okay.
Not
Southeast-
hashtag not our moon rats.
But okay, I think we're ready to wind down. If you have any check marks, you can remove the check marks and roll a d4 to gain in those skill. I don't think anybody really rolled a lot they weren't good at today.
I failed one roll.
You should check down what skills you are when you fail them. Remember.
I did.
He has a section for that too.
Which one did
It
you fail?
was...
Because I thought most of our rolls today were mostly in, I don't remember us doing a lot of rolls.
There was a moderate amount of rolling.
Really?
I believe I failed my forensics roll.
I did one roll for the law, I believe.
Yeah,
That's not one.
I think all of you rolled dice at least once, probably a couple of times, but mostly it was cruising on.
So
You
how do I
guys
roll
did
skill?
specialize.
How do I roll skill points?
Okay, so if you fail the skill, at the end of the session, you remove the check mark and you roll 1d4 and add that to your number.
Oh, my
Failure
persona
teaches you
number? Okay.
every skill except unnatural.
Sweet. I now have a 51 in forensics.
Sick.
Nice.
And then I think that's everything. So we'll be back next time for more about this bullshit of the rat's nest.
Moon rats.